a blue moon, you'll see me like check to see if we're still alive.
Yep.
We're not like checking for comments and shit. We're just gonna go, but every once in a while we get kicked off, but we'll be good there. Shaboom, bam. We'll get this one going, bam, and then I get to say the beautiful, handsome, successful Kabir Bhakta.
Jesus Christ! Okay,
yeah,
in the house,
dude.
I'm excited.
This is one of my most favorite types of shows. Those that are listening at any point, we've never chilled.
Not really.
Legitimately.
No, I've seen you at the restaurant.
Seen you, but these are like every once in a while I get followed more digitally than in person. I need you. So like,
thank you.
Thank you
for that.
The byproduct of this is I have been so fascinated to see what a serial entrepreneur that you are. And with that, though, the caveat being, I can imagine the thunderstorms as a human being that you're dealing with.
Oh, absolutely.
And I admire your tenacity, your strength, and overall, whatever is your true north. And that's what I'd love to talk to you about today.
That is amazing.
Is that awesome?
Absolutely.
For those that don't know, you have, where I crossed paths with you for the first time was Dahlia and Flagler.
Correct.
And that's been about 5 years now?
It's been exactly 5 years.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's been exactly.
I remember when you go to launch and the entire concept, the colors, Mexican restaurant wasn't nothing new under the sun, but the way you brought it with the, once again, just the colors, the vibe of this, I'm like, there's something this guy's got.
Yeah. I don't think I can take credit for that though. That's all my wife.
Really?
That's all.
That's the missus.
She's the one that picked all the colors and the pink and the blue and
beautiful.
If that was my choice, I would have gone with black and grays and
right. So she had a lot of that was a lot of her response, like the inside decor.
Yes. Well, if Lupe and I created the concept, but I was always behind the menu, the drinks, all that kind of stuff. But she's been in charge of the look of it from the moment we started. But then, you know, some new people have come on board.
Right.
We have a visual director now. We have we've been growing. So
it's incredible.
So we have a full team that helps us out, but they bring our ideas to reality, basically.
Well, it's working because I being an avid consumer of Dahlia, no joke, I'm probably there since you've opened. I'm like, I'm a spoiled brat, so I have it delivered, which I love that you guys work with the delivery system this close. But the missus and I are like once a week, easy. And I'm like a habitual order like that. Ceviche, I get one of the burritos, and then she gets one or two items. But the consistency, the quality. But before I forget too, one of the things I've never had the opportunity with you is what you seem to have a beautiful, diverse background. Are you really from Chile?
I am
from
Chile.
You have a beautiful country.
I was born and raised in Chile.
Okay.
I came here in 2005, so it's going to be 17 years now.
Was that your first time in the States from Chile, or
it was the first time in the States?
That's incredible, dude.
05. I came in on a Sunday. I believe I think it was May 8th. It was a Sunday, and then on Monday I started working.
What I mean, the States speak for itself, but like, what was some of the reasoning? Were you in this life transformation? I mean, timestamp wise, you look even younger than me. So, well, I mean, we're around the same. Point is, you come here in 05. This is a big moment for you. Like there was no looking back. You knew that you wanted to come to the States.
For sure.
Were you already? I know you have a beautiful wife. You have a baby girl.
I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Okay, she wasn't obviously in the picture yet.
No, not at all.
Were you with the missus then?
I've been with her for the past 16 years. So yeah, I got here. And a year later, I met her.
You met her in the States.
I met her in the States. She's from Spain originally.
Oh, get out of town! I love that.
And place. So it's a pretty long story. But my dad was an American citizen.
Okay.
Him and my mom got divorced, and when I was 1 or 2, he moved to the States. He's of Indian descent, so he's from India. He moved to Panama when he was like 17, 16, something like that, from what I remember. Then because of business, he actually was traveling back and forth to Chile. So in one of those trips, he met my mom, and they ended up getting together. You know, they got married. They were living a beautiful life. But then he had an opportunity to work here, and he decided to come here. And they stayed friends. You know, that doesn't change anything. But and then he gave me the opportunity of coming here when I was 18 or something. At the time, I didn't really want to come right away.
Right.
It was a little bit tough. And my mom was going through cancer and stuff like that. So I couldn't just leave. But as soon as I turned 21, that was the time to come.
So you come here 21 years old in the States. Where do you go first? Where did you fly into?
I flew into Miami. I still remember.
Can we talk about, because I just love hearing
sure,
the culture shock of like the smell. I mean, I bet you can close your eyes and it's
absolutely.
So you here you are. Do you remember what time of day it was?
It was actually in the morning. It was around 11:15 or so.
Traveling probably all day.
All night. Yes.
All night.
And it was weird because I keep thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go to a country where I don't speak the language. I'm gonna arrive in Miami. What am I gonna do? Who am I gonna talk to? And then next thing you know, I'm speaking Spanish to everyone there. It's like, okay, well,
I'm good.
This is kind of cool. So we didn't have smartphones back then,
right?
Like we do now. Well, we did, but nothing like
you're using the translation, right?
And so I remember there was a small coffee shop called La Carreta. It was a Cuban tiny little restaurant inside the Miami airport. And I remember asking the lady for a phone. I called my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm at La Carreta. You know, it's a Cuban little place in the airport." So he comes and picks me up, and then that was the weirdest drive back to Ormond Beach that I've ever.
Oh, so Ormond was already, this area was already predetermined home because of Pops?
Yes. So my dad had been working for Gary Yeoman's Ford, the auto mall, for the past 15 years or so.
Wow.
So right after they moved from the International Speedway location and they opened that auto mall, that's when my dad started working there. So it was actually my first job too. In the car wash, in the detail department there.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I didn't speak English back then, so Mr. Yeomans was like, "Hey, this is what we can give you." You know,
what we got. I bet you were humble though. I bet you were.
Absolutely,
work was work.
I've always been appreciative of everything that's been thrown to me, for sure.
So now here we are. We're timestamp 0405.
Yes. 05.
You're 18, 19, dude. You've got to have, life is coming at you like 100.
Oh yeah.
Are in those moments, are you happy, sad, glad, a mixture of everything? Are you just optimistic because you're in this, like, where are you at mentally?
Man, it's a mixture of emotions. You're excited because you're in a new country, but at the same time you're sad because you left everything behind. So you left your mom, your sisters, your brother, everybody.
What's your family situation? How many brothers, sisters you have?
I have one younger brother.
Okay.
He was very little back then, and then two sisters.
Okay.
They're 2 years apart. I'm like 9 years apart with the oldest one.
Okay.
And so leaving my
and
whole family,
they stay.
They stay there, but I brought them all back. Brought them all in.
That's usually the way it goes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the first 2 years here, I wanted to go back. I was just.
So there was a little bit of that, like, what am I? This isn't. I don't want to be here anymore.
I think most foreigners go through that, brother. I think it's not your country, not your culture, not your language. I mean, that's the main thing. I was having a hard time learning this language. The first 2 years, it was just.
Did you come with any you went through obviously the school system in Chile, etc. Was English taught, or was it just
it was taught
like how Spanish is taught here? No one really is picking it up.
In my school, it was an elective, and I didn't really.
So you didn't come here with knowing much.
Nothing.
Wow, bro.
Nothing. No. I think that's best.
Yeah, because you got the real.
Yes, I think that's a little bit better. Unfortunately, what they teach you in the schools in South America, and I can only speak for Chile, but it's a British English.
Interesting.
And so you get here and you're like, certain words don't really apply. Like instead of saying, "Hey, what's up?" or "Hi, what's going on?" They teach you to say, "How do you do?" and stuff like that. And you're like, nobody uses that in America. And so I had no English background at all. It was the first 2 years was tough. But then in my case, something clicked in my head. It's like, you either learn it, or you go back to being poor.
Right. Because you were for those 2 years. Were you staying at Were you at the dealership still?
Yes. So I was at the dealership. I had I created an amazing relationship with everybody there.
Had you always? And I don't mean to keep interrupting, but this is such a fascinating story and parallel what you're saying. At 18, you were pretty much, I would imagine, most of your character, like all young men, we kind of were you always a networker, thinker, disruptor? So you're these first 2 years, you're going through this polite displacement because you're mentally, but you're building a network. You're getting your job done. You're not just you're kicking ass in these 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, pretty
right?
much. I've always had that. I think my chip in my head is it's work, work, work,
Right.
and someday you'll be rewarded. And I think I am being rewarded, but not in a money sense of things, but what I've created, my
Right.
brand, my family, they're able to come here to stay with me. So those are more important things for me. Money is nice,
Of course, it's helping.
but it does help. But I think having my family close and having a beautiful family like my wife, my daughter, man,
Right.
is just priceless.
So at these 2 years, what starts to be this like paradigm shift of, okay, I'm not going to go back.
Mhm.
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to, was there a moment? Was there an accumulative?
Meeting my wife. I
Boom.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you meet, and it's Lupe? Lupe.
Yeah.
You guys both have amazing names, unique, beautiful names. So now Lupe, you guys meet, and now there starts to be even more you're in love.
Yes.
So love factor's happening, and I'm sure that part is history.
At
you
least
guys
I was.
She's listening. She's like, I got him fooled.
No, it was a beautiful connection from day one. I remember seeing her a lot before we actually started dating, but and I was always like, because 2 years into this country, I moved out of my dad's house.
Okay.
Not because I didn't want to be with him, but it's just that
you want an adult.
Yes, I'm an adult, but also my dad felt more like a roommate, and I don't mean in a sense of I'm trying to be disrespectful or anything, but we didn't quite know each other because I grew up without him. So I'm grateful for the opportunity you're giving me. I love you, but I feel like it's my time to be on my own.
Right.
So he was against it, of course. He's like, no, I think all
parents want you.
Yeah, and especially South Asian families, like Indian families, like, but you're only 22.
Right. I'm supposed to still be living at home, bro. Trust me.
And so I moved out. I had a very good friend.
Are we in the area like Ormond, Daytona Beach-ish?
Yes. So this was Daytona Beach, where I found a roommate and we moved to Daytona Beach, close to I think it was Bevel Road and Nova, somewhere there, some small apartments. And I was going to school I was actually just finishing my English program, and I was getting transferred to start college. And so I met some friends, some Hispanic group of people, and I met Juan. And Juan was a very good friend. We became best friends pretty fast. And he was going to school to be a pilot. And one day we threw a barbecue at our place, and here comes all the pilots.
Okay.
And one of those pilots was my wife.
Oh, she got her wings, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
So
was she going to Riddle?
She went to Phoenix East.
Wow. Okay.
She's a commercial pilot. Yeah. She didn't get to. I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So I met her and just I was like, I need to ask her out.
You're mine.
I'm like,
right.
Yeah. And it's crazy because she was the only one in a group of like 15 men.
It's not a very women centric industry.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I'm trying to go through all these guys to ask her out because she had like 14, 15 bodyguards at all times.
Yeah. New guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So at first when I asked her out and she said yes, and we started dating pretty quickly. Actually, it was I don't want to say I was hated by some of them,
of course,
but there was a little bit of friction,
envy and jealousy, bro. They're debilitating the most.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful from the get go. It's I don't think I ever felt that connection with anybody, and not just in a sense of my partner, but it's just in general.
Right.
Like she's such a beautiful soul and smart as hell.
So she came from Spain?
She came from
what part of Spain?
She's from Valladolid, which is about 4 hours north of Madrid.
Okay. I love Spain.
I love it too, man. I wish we could live there.
I know. maybe, but I would imagine she's a huge football fan or soccer fan.
I think most people.
It's in their
Spain
blood.
are.
Yeah.
South Americans, Hispanics, we all are.
I know.
It's just in our nature. Yeah.
Have you been able to go to her home yet? Have you seen?
Many times. Yeah, we go there.
So we go
there all the time. Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with that province of Spain, but like the Barcelona, the Madrid, like.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, let's not go there. I mean, the Messi effect, forget about it. Okay. So what a beautiful story. So now you guys, I mean, you guys are falling in love, and what a huge metamorphosis for you as a human being. Like, you couldn't make this up. You've got coming out of your adolescence as becoming a man. You've got learning a new culture, a new language.
Yeah.
You're becoming you're turning into this man, in a position where, did you feel very supported then? I know you had your dad, and I'm not trying to rob the whatever intimacy you had with your father, and like you had your papa, but like, what did it feel like being 18 nothing? You know, basically 18 to 22. We are still kids at that age, but like
men are.
Did you? I know. Did you feel supported, or did you feel like you were one against the world, so to speak? Where were you?
I've always felt supported by others.
That's a beautiful thing.
I've been lucky enough in that sense. I think most people I've met, or my dad told me this once. He passed away 3 years ago.
Condolences, man.
But he did say something to me that got me. He said, people are always going to support you because the way you talk about what you love shows that you love doing that. So people are always going to be like, oh, okay, I believe in his projects, or, you know. And so I've been lucky enough to have people like, you know, like my wife, my mom, my dad, my business partner, Rick. You know, we've been lucky enough to have people around us that have always believed. And there's always those people out there. There's that 3, 4, 5% of
there's
people.
There's those 14 pilots that want you, bro.
I want to bring you down for sure, but it's just not. To me, if you focus on that 5%, you'll never move forward. 100%. So I think that 95% that do support your ideas and your craziness and stuff, those are the people that you meet in your life.
It's beautiful. It's actually rather a very low statistic, I think, that people feel supported. And I think you've been super blessed by byproduct of you probably staying positive, focusing on yourself and those around you, and not letting you could have been a normal statistic, which whether or not you came from out of the country or not, a lot of people feel this fuck the world. I want to destroy something beautiful effect because it's not working out. And I know that you've had just as many as dark fetal position evenings that you've had successful. It's a byproduct of striving for greatness. When does this entrepreneurial fever become so debilitating to you? Like, when does it start? It's got to hit, because you're here. It's been less than 5 years, give or take. You got Lupe, right? When does all of a sudden you're like, I got to do something? What's going on?
Funny that you mentioned that, because I was just talking to my brother about this not too long ago. Back in 2009 or 10, I can't remember. I was in a very bad car accident.
Oh God!
And prior to the car accident, my wife and I were going through this very difficult time in our lives, financially, and not as a couple. We were always supporting each other, but it was bad to the point where we were, you know, borrowing money from people and asking our families back in our countries. Like, we're in the country of opportunities, and we're supposed to be sending things.
But the economy was shit. This is 08, 09.
Yes. So back in 07, 08, you know, my dad had bought a house when I first moved here. And we lost it in 07 when the economy went down. And so I was always with the idea of being in the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels, all that stuff. And so I remember, and this, when I first came here, 2005, the one thing that got my attention was like, this is going to be paradise for me, because the restaurant industry is booming. Like, I remember going.
You could see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember he took me the first time. The first restaurant I went to was a Longhorn on Speedway, and the line to get in, brother, was like 45 minutes to an hour. And I was like, yes, this is where I want to be. And all the restaurants, not just that one. And I was like, yeah, I got to stay here. And then next thing you know, 07, everything goes to shit, you know? And so restaurants are not really surviving. They're having a hard time. So my dad is like, you need to do something else. You need to find a different career. And so I enrolled myself in the nursing program at
Daytona.
I think it was Bethune-Cookman.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, so I went there. I did 1 year, and while I was being a nurse student, I was working at a restaurant at that time, and I remember I was given the opportunity of managing a restaurant. So I left the nursing program and I became a full-time manager.
What a leap! It's some faith right there.
That's what I always wanted, and I was. Like I said, I was working at a restaurant at that time, so so I was blessed enough to be given that opportunity, and so I left nursing on the side, which wasn't my choice or something that I really wanted to do. But I thought if the economy is up or down,
everyone needs to get help.
Yeah.
Right.
So it could be a good opportunity. So I'm glad things happened the way they happened, because now I'm in front of you talking about.
So you get this management position in the hospitality industry, which once again, in my opinion, requires, it's a very small percentage of humans that do enjoy that industry. In my opinion, I know there's a lot of people in it. I have a background in hospitality. I enjoy it, but it is a bloody.
It is a tough business for sure. Small margins, small profit, and but going back to your question, what made me change to be more entrepreneurial? And I think it was a few months prior to that accident, we were so bad financially. We had no money, we kept messing it up. Like it's like everything is against us. You feel that
every
way.
Decision you seem to make is corrosive.
Right. And so I remember my wife and I were working in this tiny little Mexican place in South Daytona called Mariachi. It was some of your viewers might know, on Bevel Road, right across from the Walmart. And that restaurant, I remember we used to do everything. It was like 3 servers and the whole restaurant. And we used to come in the morning, mop the floors, do the restrooms, and then host, I was a host, sitting people. My wife got a job there first, actually. So she got me the job there. And we were both servers running the whole show pretty much with the owner. And so we're trying to make money, we're trying to move forward, and nothing is going in our favor. And then I get in this bad accident. I lose my car, the only car that we had, and I totaled it. I remember we had problems with the insurance, so I didn't get a new one. Then next thing you know, I'm in the hospital, and it's
what am I doing?
What's going on? And then, so when I left the hospital on my way to the house, I told my wife, that's it. That's it for me. I am not going back to that. I'm not going back to being broke, and so as soon as I felt better, I went out. I applied at another restaurant that was about to open in Ormond, and it was a popular Mexican restaurant, and it's family owned, which is what I wanted. Because I did apply to other restaurants like Ale House and other big restaurants, and nobody would hire me. It could have been an accent, or I don't know, who knows. And so I was hired by that restaurant, and I moved up quick. I remember 3 weeks in, and I became assistant manager. And 2 years in, I became the general manager. And so I was the general manager there for 3 years, and then we opened our own restaurant. So
you opened up a branch of that, or you did your first?
We did our first.
What's your first one? What was your
this one? Flagler.
That was your first.
That is our first.
That is incredible, dude. It doesn't. I'm no restaurateur, but being all like an avid consumer, I would have thought that was like your 100th one, not literally. But you hear my like you came when you opened that spot. I was like, we had never seen. I've been in this area since '86. Yeah. So I'm well traveled, but even that was nothing like we've ever seen before. I remember opening. I'm like, this guy's got whatever this is got it. I mean, it had that like Disney-esque feel, like that Walt vision. And once again, this food speaks for itself too. There's not a lot of restaurants that have that type of consistency.
Right.
And you whatever you're doing behind the scenes, you're doing great. But so that's the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that Disney thing, because my visual director and I have that joke that we want to Disney on a budget at restaurants kind of thing.
It shows, bro.
We do everything. We do most of the work ourselves. We do hire specific people for specific things that we can't really do. But for the most part, we're a very good team.
It's working outside of whatever woebegons you have as a human A and B, a business owner. Now Dahlia was that's the brainchild. So it's been 0 to 5 years go by. The greats, the weaknesses. Now all of a sudden, this fever is obviously consuming you. You're wearing it. Like, when does this? You open up Daytona 1 starts to hit your map? I would imagine.
Yes.
How does?
And I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
When we first got the loan to open Dahlia Flagler, we were contemplating opening a restaurant. We looked for a space. I don't know if you're familiar with where Dahlia Daytona is, but right in that corner, there used to be a place called Lime. It was a Mexican.
Well, it's in Daytona 1, right? That whole.
It used to be Friendly's years ago, and then Lime took over, and then I think Ruby Tuesday kind of like owned the percentage of Lime or something. And then anyway, so Lime went out of business, and I approached the leasing company for that plaza before One Daytona had it. And I said, listen, I have Dahlia. It's my concept. I want to open it. I know that Mexican restaurant didn't work out, but here's my project, my business plan. And so I was a small fish. I was no one back then. So they said, you know what? We really need a national credit, a national chain, or because we want to make sure they're going to be successful. And in my head, I was like, hello. Lime was a national chain, and they But anyways, it worked out for the best. During my wife and I were going to this CrossFit gym in Daytona, and one of the coaches there, our friend Rick, he was also our customer when we were both servers at this restaurant, and he would always say that we had tremendous work ethics and stuff like that. And he always said, whenever you're ready to do your own thing, find me. He's a business owner, He would tell me, if you need any business advice, find me, whatever you need, let me know. I want to be a part of your growth if you ever get to that point, or when you get to that point. And so in that CrossFit gym, I met a lot of people that were influential in my life, and they don't know it. So I met this lady named Mara, and her husband worked at a bank, local bank in Ormond Beach. Back then it was Reunion Bank, I think. And so Lupe and I have been working on our business plan to open our own restaurant. And I remember some of the guys from the SBA were teaching me remotely online and stuff, and how to do things. And I put together this beautiful business plan for Dahlia. And it was like a 50-page.
This is Dahlia 1.0.
Dahlia 1. Okay. And I said, I told my wife, you know what? Why don't we give it to Mark at Reunion Bank and see what he thinks, before we start bringing it to the banks that we're trying to choose. And so one day I call Mark, and I'm like, hey, Mark, this is Kabir, I'm friends with Mara, your wife, blah, blah, blah. And I have a business plan. I explained the idea to him, and he said, sure, I'll take a look at it and I'll let you know. So he kept it for 2 weeks. And then I get a call from him, and he said, which bank are you thinking about? And I said, well, whoever gives me the loan. I mean, at this point, I don't have a business. I ain't
discriminating.
So for a bank to give you a business loan without a business, without a previous experience owning your own place, it's very, very uncommon. And so I said, well, whoever gives me the loan. And I said, well, I think I can give you the loan. And I was it blew my mind. I just couldn't believe it. And I said, well, you're kidding, right? He said, no, just stop by the office. We'll talk about it, see your options and stuff, and we go from there. And so we went to his office, and he presented the idea. He said, I think this is beautifully done. You got something. I told him I wanted to open an international speedway, and I also had this location in mind.
So you already knew that you had 1.0, you already knew that you wanted to go.
Yes, I had two options. So plan A was that Lime building that had just gone out of business, or by Publix here.
Okay.
And so he said, I don't like the international though. We'll give you the loan, but make sure you go to that Palm Coast, Flagler.
He just knew. What great advice.
They know.
Of course they want you to succeed.
Of course they know. Right.
Wow.
And so, so I came talk to Publix, and I'm lucky enough that they said yes. And that's when I approached my friend Rick, and I said, Rick, I'm ready. There's an option for me to get a loan. I can do this, but I want you to be a part of it. And so we meet at a restaurant, I remember, and I said, this is the business plan. He owns a construction company, so it would be ideal for me to do something with him and build it,
build out.
And so everything was thought out before. And I said, here's the business plan, and we need this amount of money from you if you want to be a part of it or whatever. And he said, don't need your business plan. Pull out his checkbook and say how much you need. So I've been blessed with people like that. I always say that everybody needs a Ricky Joe. That's my friend's name. Everybody needs a Ricky Joe in their lives. Someone that supports you no matter what, and they're positive about your ideas and stuff. And so all three of us went in business,
It's incredible.
My wife and I are the majority owners of everything we do, but we always wanted to have Rick on our side because he's got so much business wisdom. Right. We needed that. Right. I didn't have that.
That's smart.
I knew about restaurants. I knew how to create a menu, how to hire people, all that, but there's a lot behind the
Scary
scenes,
stuff, all the big boy stuff.
right, that people
Right.
don't know about. And so we needed somebody like that. I can honestly say that now I can move forward on my own. I could.
Right.
I don't want to, but I've learned so much from him and from everything that we have done.
That's amazing, man. There's not a lot of people that as I'm adulting, that actually, let's just say, pay respects to, whether it's taking a quote that wasn't theirs or taking the glory, because what you have built is and what I love too is that you and I are very evenly yoked, man. Like I don't get too focused on whatever the revenues are and good, bad, or indifferent. I like peace and rest.
Right.
And it seems that even though you're not saying that specifically, I knew I was attracted to you more than what you've built, but I feel like you have found success, but rest. And those two things are very hard to find, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
To be able to find, when I don't get too much of it, but I'm sure I don't have much to show, but with a guy like you that has structures, like physical structures, that just like it happens to a lot of my friends that own things that are big. You're a billionaire now. It must be nice. That attitude, that demeanor, like, oh, you just look, and people don't understand that it's so bloody behind the scenes.
Oh my goodness.
The sleepless nights, the maybe it's just a stupid, shitty lawsuit. I mean, to know when I have friends that I've acquired, which now you are a dear friend of mine, to know that you're employing more than two people, lawsuits at some point, it's inevitable. And it sounds, I don't want to be half glass full, but what I find to be so admirable isn't what you make, what you spend, and what you've got coming in gross. I don't care. What I'm is like, are you sleeping? Because I want to see how my fires are. It could always be crazier. The ship you're sailing right now is it's growing. So it's got, and I feel like you have such a sense of your reality that you are aware of it. You're aware of how big it is. You don't seem to be this like ignorance is bliss factor. Right. Like I think with much responsibility comes, with a lot of growth comes responsibility. And I think you have a lot of that reality, which is refreshing. And what I would say now is like, here you go. You got Dahlia 1.0. You go into, does the 2.01 happen in Daytona 1 first, and then now we're bleeding into this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So one Daytona approached us 1 year after opening Flagler.
Wow.
And by the way, going back to your lawsuits and stuff, somebody tried to sue us 2 weeks in our first restaurant.
See what I mean?
Family owned.
This one.
We owe everybody money. Like it's we started our business -7,000. And then I remember this lady tried to file a lawsuit against us right away because she fell outside or some crazy shit. And, I'm sorry.
No, you could.
And so I laugh now, but it was like sleepless
nights. Are you kidding me?
Weeks.
I can't imagine.
Yes, and I'm glad that went away. They kind of understood that they were, they're messing with two kids that don't have anything. Like this is, and so that went away. But so we were approached by one Daytona. I was speechless again. And it goes full circle because I wanted to be in there before.
Right, the whole line effect.
Yeah. And so I was like, really? You guys want me to go there? They're like, yeah, they bought the corner, which wasn't part of one Daytona at first. It was a different development. And the lady said, we're going to remodel the whole thing. And we would love to have you guys in. And I said, okay, how many other Mexican restaurants have you approached? And she said, we don't want to approach anybody else. We want you guys. And so I was like, Jesus, okay. So we'll set up a meeting. And they came to the restaurant. And then when they show up at the restaurant, I'm like, the regulars at my restaurant. That's why
I know you guys.
Yeah, I was like, wait. And they're like, yeah, we come here all the time. We love your concept. And we would love for you to be there.
Yes.
And so I said, okay, but I don't have any money.
Right.
And they said, we have the money. Wow. We can help you out. We will give you a nice TI allowance, and of course the money had to come from us up front, and then we'll get it back from them. But we talked to our partner Rick, my wife, and we decided to just move forward with it, man. Like we just Yeah, we just went for it, and it's a beautiful restaurant. I think we did a good
It's
job.
gorgeous.
I don't think there was any Mexican restaurant on International Speedway. Well, before, I think years ago, was it Acapulco or one something where Outback is now.
Right.
It used to be a Mexican place back in the days when I first moved here, but that was it. And so we opened that one. Then, well, this one was born, and Dahlia started off slow and very slow.
2.0.
2.0. Flagler was actually helping Daytona
That was
to survive
the flagship.
first year. Oh yeah, Flagler is an amazing little restaurant.
Yeah,
Has
we're a weird crew, bro.
Yeah.
Once we find what we like, we stick with it.
Flagler is a beautiful community.
Yeah.
I can say that for sure. Amazing people. I have made great friends. I mean, people from the city to other restaurant owners that show support. It's just unbelievable.
So so I didn't realize Dahlia 2.0 opened how many years into Dahlia 1.0?
So we were approached a year into Flagler,
Okay.
and then we were able to open our doors a year later. So
wow, so like 3-ish years into
2 years into one, we
Wow,
opened.
I thought it was way after.
No, we opened January 2017. This one, Flagler, and then January of 2019, we opened Daytona.
So that one, it's funny because I would assume it was blowing up because it's Daytona, the races, the this, the that.
No.
But are we still seeing a slow?
No, Daytona is it's a beast.
It's turned into a monster.
Yes.
Well, I bet you a lot of it had to do with, I don't frequent Daytona 1 too much, but for a while it was kind of this like there was like not that much going on. It would walk around and it was right. It was like a ghost town because it's like one building was vacant.
Yep.
Then there was something. So is everything occupied now? Is everything pretty much?
I think they're at like 90% occupied. Yeah, they're doing great.
So that store has become its own little it's becoming its own store.
Yeah,
like it's.
But just keep in mind that Dahlia is outside of the one Daytona thing. So Dahlia is in the corner of Bill Friends and ISB. That's called the Shops at One Daytona. But the center, the heart of One Daytona, it's P.F. Chang's, Full Rivers, Rock Bottom, all those restaurants.
Which is probably working out for your benefit because you're
yes.
Interesting. So then now BurgerTen now is yet again, this is another one of your brainchilds, right? How did some of this shit hit you? Are you in?
I love what I do, brother.
I know it shows, but like what? Just like Rogan would ask Elon Musk, like, are you like, do you disappear for a week with the family and you're like sitting somewhere and you're like, is that like what it is? I feel like, and it just hit. You're eating a burger and you're like, this is shitty. I'm making one.
My best ideas come in the shower. That's what I normally say. But no, actually, we I feel like I'm an animal that adapts. If you don't adapt in this country, you're done. Or anywhere in the world, really. I tell my friends that come to this country for the first time and they're foreigners and they get to that 2-year mark just like I did and they feel like they want to go back.
Right.
I'm like, don't worry about it. It'll come to you. Work hard. Learn the language. The first thing you got to do, please learn the language. That's key if you want to succeed in life.
Right.
Don't just involve with people that speak your own language. If you're
get out of your shell.
Right. Get out of your shell.
Right.
Get uncomfortable. I remember some of the things I did to learn English. I used to force myself to go, let's say, on the drive-thru at Taco Bell at night where they can barely understand you through the speaker or whatever. And I would do the circle many times until they actually. The hell out of here. Yeah, that was my training. Or going to Walmart and talking to customers. I mean, to employees. Hey, I knew where things were.
But
I wanted to be like, hey, excuse me, where can I find this shampoo or whatever? And that I forced myself to learn it because if you don't, then that's
wonderful advice, dude, for people that don't have language. Brother. I would have never.
Yeah, it's so essential. I mean, and people start looking at you differently too when you are able to communicate better, you know. And so, anyways. I get people from the auto mall, actually from Gary Yeoman's Ford, that go to my restaurants now and they see me and they talk to me and they're like, shit, your English got a lot better. Like, and so that's exciting. That's exciting.
There's guys that are still there that you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gotta be.
I made a lot of friends.
So nostalgic and rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect everybody that I work with back at Gary Yeoman's Ford. Most of them, I think. Everybody that knew me visit my restaurants and they're regulars, you know.
It's incredible
and
feeling.
Yeah, it is an amazing feeling seeing them there, and when they ask about my dad and stuff like that,
Right.
you know, it's just beautiful. It's been a blessing getting to know all these people around
Right.
me, you know.
Well, I mean, basically in less than just about 2 decades, brother, you've built a whole new, you've reinvented yourself
Yes,
in a
I believe
beautiful
so.
way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's shows, once again, when I reached out to you, it was not long-winded. It was right to the point. And there's a come talk to me. And I'm not like that just because I said that doesn't mean that you're cool. It means I'm just as normal as the rest of us, but I have this attractive nature to you, and I didn't know why, and it had nothing to do about, once again, I don't know what you make. I don't care what you make. There's this like peace that you have about you. And I've only probably even gotten to see you less than 5 times cumulatively, but even when I see you in your atmosphere, you don't ever seem to be, and I know it's in there. Yeah. We're all humans. I know there's a storm somewhere. You're either in one, coming out of one, or going into one. But you have this stoic nature about you that I'm attracted to that goes, how? And what would you say, like, when you get that phone call, whether it's a stupid lawsuit or if it's Sally's doing Billy at the restaurant, they can't work today, you know, like you're getting the call.
Yep.
What's
somebody call you? That sounds familiar.
They posted, bro. They're like, if he's doing a podcast, I'm calling out. Must be nice. When the chips are down, which they have been, which has got to be why you've gotten this piece. But what are some of the things that you rely on that bring you, that you just like? What is it?
My team, brother. My
team, huh?
I have an amazing team. My managers are incredible. They do an amazing job. They're in the restaurants pretty much every day. They love what they do, which is important.
Right.
And they have been promoted from within. So it's not people that I just hire out of nowhere to be managers. So they appreciate what they do, and I appreciate what they do tremendously. My wife is another incredible support.
Can imagine.
Just the fact that we opened the first restaurant together, and she was so into making that restaurant successful that we did. And now that she's a mom, we are parents. I know she misses it, but I'm so proud of the mom she has become, because she's like, forget the restaurants. Our daughter is
priority.
First, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, but she's like, you got this. You know, Dahlia is fine, and you can go now on. But Lupe is an incredible business owner. A lot of people don't know this about her, but you know, when we opened the restaurant, we both used to sleep in our car, you know, because we couldn't leave the restaurant. It's our first baby. So, you know, we put a mattress behind her SUV, I remember. And we used to take turns and stuff. And she would be there all day, taking care of the front of the house. I'll be taking care of the back of the house. And I'm sure most small business owners go through this. I'm not saying we're special, but having someone like that next to you helps. And having a team like the one we have created helps. Having a business partner like Rick helps for sure. Having your family believing in you.
Right.
And anything you want to do.
Right.
My mom is a yes lady. My mom goes to every restaurant and preps for every restaurant. And it's funny because I say, Mom, I got this crazy idea. Do it.
She just believes in you.
I love it. You know, she's that kind of person. So,
we still have Mama. Mama's still.
Yes, Mama's still the main prep. She goes.
That's incredible.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Has most of your cuisine being Mexican influenced? Because that's the theme of Dahlia, right?
Yes.
It would be
the modern Mexican.
Where is that cuisine brainchild? Is it an aggregated accumulation of people that you like, things you like, or this, or do you rely on, like, is it the brainchild of Mama? Like, where some?
No. So this was born out of us. My wife and I have been thinking about this idea. Like I said, we used to work in this very tiny Mexican place that was so popular.
This is where you basically got your residency. This is like your PhD.
Right. Well, I've worked in restaurants all my life.
No, I know, but the one where you guys were.
Yes. Well, that was where we got all our kind of like our.
You were mopping
training,
that,
doing
the whole
all that,
thing.
and then we transitioned from such a small restaurant into still a family-owned business, but a more better structured Mexican restaurant with a better background and stuff that operate in a more
like a cohesive nature,
right. And so we go into this where they have food runners and hostesses and people cleaning the restrooms and
you're like, what do I do?
And we're like, what do I do? That's why I believe that's why I moved up so quick, because I'm doing all kinds of things. That's my nature, coming from a restaurant where we used to do everything. And so it was easy. It was easy for me.
When you get to focus on your job, you're like, holy shit, I can really.
It was a piece of cake. I'm like, wait, you telling me I only have to take care of my tables? It's incredible, you know? And so you focus on that. I created amazing relationships with some of the customers there. And some of those customers, when I was a server, are still my customers at Dahlia and BurgerTen, you know, and it's incredible. And so we learned a lot from that last restaurant, good and bad, you know. I don't like to talk bad about anybody, but it was a point in our lives where we needed to do something on our own, get out, you know. And so we did. And the way we did the menu is we wanted Mexican, but the traditional theme was everywhere and still is. And so we wanted to go more modern when it comes to Mexican cuisine. We took a few trips to Mexico. We went to LA. We kind of like
saw what people are eating.
You go to Mexico and yes, they still have that traditional taquerias and places like that in popular areas, but the restaurants that are making top 5 in the world don't do any of that.
Can you tell me what a reflection of what modern would be? Because I'm so novice to this. Like I just eat, like for instance, let me tell you what I ordered and then tell me if this is, so the ceviche, it's very hard to find ceviche in this country, let alone.
Which is weird.
It's
we have amazing seafood over here.
It's probably number one. Ceviche, whatever the protein may be, combined with even octopus, those two things are very, very hard to find. But you got ceviche. Would that be a reflection of modern, or what would that menu item be?
The reflection of what Dahlia would be, we take all those traditional ingredients, right? But we mix them with a modern twist. What I mean by that is we go cleaner on our meats.
I see.
We use no sub-animal products on our refried beans, on our rice. They're all vegan, vegetarian. So our food is cleaner.
I see.
So that's the sense when we say more modern. Traditional Mexican, old school Mexican, they still use animal fat for their beans, which is good. Don't get me wrong. I love that food, but we also want something that still tastes amazing, but it doesn't bother you.
You could still eat often, and you're not gonna. I see what you're saying.
So the cuts of meat are different. Right. We use Angus steak. We use steakhouse quality steaks instead of using that cheap cut that.
Right.
I don't want to say.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
Perfect.
So better quality, better ingredients, I think, is the key, and the presentation of the plates. We don't just throw things on a plate with rice and beans.
Right.
You have dishes that are well executed. Presentation is key for me, and flavor, of course. So I think that's what makes Dahlia a little bit different than the other restaurants. And the new one we're open, now that you mentioned ceviche, so the new one I'm opening in Port Orange.
I don't know anything about this one. Oh, you got a Dahlia 3.0?
Yes. Oh, let me go back then. We will get there. So that one, Port Orange used to be, I just took over the space where Coastal used to be. So that was a seafood / steakhouse kind of thing. Okay. And so they had an area where they used to do the oysters and stuff. Visible to the customers. You could actually sit there.
Like a wet bar or something like that.
It was a raw bar.
Raw bar, that's what they called,
And so I'm utilizing that, and I'm making a ceviche bar. So I think
me, bro.
Just for you.
Chenzo's ceviche bar. Bro, I love ceviche. So you're going to cook it prepare it there.
We're going to buy fresh fish. 3 kinds of fish. We're going to rotate them a little bit, market price,
depending on what's available.
We'll have tuna as well most of the time, and shrimp, and three different kinds of fish depending on what we can get our hands on. But that will separate us a little bit from the rest. So having a ceviche bar, and that same ceviche bar will act as a guac bar. So you're going to be able to create all these crazy looking guacamoles.
It's still going to be a sit-down restaurant, but have this novel area to sit down and have a cocktail.
Exactly. Kind of like when you go to a sushi Japanese place and you see the sushi chefs doing that. We'll have somebody doing ceviches and stuff. Jeez, I think people are going to like it.
Yeah.
People are going to like it.
So this will be your third one.
It'll be the third Dahlia, and it will be my 5th restaurant.
God bless you.
Yeah.
And you're still got your peace, right? So you got your rest?
Define peace, because
I would say like, but I mean, once again, it has to show, and I give props to a lot of my friends that are in this industry, which are most here because of this immediate area. We're all, everything from Turtle Shack down to Jamie at Beachfront Grill. They're all independent business owners. And I tip my hat off to every single one of them because I being a small business owner, just my one-man show, and I have one little fire for the day, my kryptonite is I'll be like, forget it. Like I forget because cashing out.
Yeah.
Where then I love to run by some war stories to my friends, whether they're here or remotely. And I'm like, dude, tell me something shitty you got going on, and they're like, bro, I got X. And I'm like, and once again, it's not about like make me feel better because yours is worse, but being scared. I think you have this really cool sense about you being, you're like, I'm sure with the right people that you're comfortable with, you're vulnerable, whether it was Rick or maybe you're some of your leads in this, where you if I'm not okay, it's okay. Like, I feel like you have that sense about you that maybe if you need a day, maybe you've taken that day, or I don't know, but
I've been doing it lately.
It's hard to find that balance.
It's getting overwhelming. It's some days it's getting where you're like, okay, shit, we got to take a break. So I would take my wife and my daughter. We would travel. Like last week, 2 weeks ago, I got to that point where I was like, because we had opened BurgerTen. And not to brag, but BurgerTen was a success from the moment we opened our doors.
Just the photos are incredible.
And so the lines just to get in, I remember driving by one day. They call me. They're like, "We need you." And I'm driving, and I'm driving by the front door. And I thought, man, we're launching the new iPhone or some shit. Like it's the line of people. It's like, oh my god,
Kanye in there, bro. So BurgerTen is in. Where's this one at? Because I haven't been there yet.
Yeah. So BurgerTen is right across the street from Game Time.
Where's Game Time? Game
Time is in the main road of One Daytona. Jeremiah is the new movie theater.
So you're in the heart of it. Like that is One Daytona.
Yes, and BurgerTen has a beautiful story too. I think it's worth to point out that BurgerTen was born during the pandemic. So we were forced to shut down during COVID. All restaurants did.
Right.
And then we were allowed to operate it, I think, like 15-20% capacity or something like that, and it wasn't cutting it.
Right.
When you have a $20,000 rent, you're like,
I remember when you guys started delivering and doing daiquiri deliveries or whatever it was. That was awesome.
That was thanks to our governor,
Smart.
man, getting allowed for us to sell alcohol to go. And but one thing that I was going to tell you is about BurgerTen, that so we needed to create something that was we wanted. I knew about the ghost kitchen concept. When you know what a ghost kitchen is?
Yes, I do.
So we needed something to generate more revenue. Like we're
for those that don't know, by the way, ghost kitchen is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're delivering the food, but there's no storefront, exactly, so to speak.
And most of the time, those ghost kitchens that go in your existing restaurant are somebody else's. Like, just to give you an example, a lot of celebrities are doing ghost kitchens now, and they're making a brand, and then they sell it to a restaurant that needs the help, right, to generate more revenue. Right. But in our case, we created BurgerTen ourselves, and so I
just out of fascination, in parallel what you're saying, how does just that one alone? How does BurgerTen hit you? Where are you? Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember? You in the shower?
Yeah. No. Well, I love burgers. First of all.
Okay.
I remember we used to. In one of the trips to LA, I remember there was a In-N-Out and a Shake Shack close from each other within 5-6 miles, and I told my wife, let's do it. Let's go to one and then go to the other one, kind of like food bloggers do.
See what's up.
You see what's up. So we go to In-N-Out and we're like, okay, let's go to Shake Shack. Okay. And I told my wife, I think I can do something better than this. And these guys are super popular, Right. I'm not saying my burgers are better. I'm just saying I thought. Yeah, I can do this. And so we thought about it, and that idea was just floating in my head. And I can imagine, bro. I have tons of concepts in my computer.
The food of Elon, bro, over here. This is amazing.
And so, so COVID hits us, and we're forced to shut down. And I told Lupe, I was like, yeah, we need to do something. We need to create a concept that will generate more revenue without affecting Dahlia. What I mean by that is we don't want to do a taco concept inside Dahlia.
You're stealing your own customer base.
So what's more opposite than Mexican food? I thought at the moment, I was like, I could do Chinese. I could do, I can cook anything, but I think a good burger travels well, especially if a burger travels a certain amount of time and you get it out of the wrap and it's sweating a little bit. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's
a good American cuisine, baby.
Yes. And so I thought that's food that travels well. Chinese food travels well too. And I wanted that. And so I started cooking burgers. I'm like, I got nothing to lose, using the same ingredients from Dahlia. So the only thing
this is happening like at your own home kitchen.
No, this is happening at Dahlia Daytona.
You're in the you're in the back and people are like, he's up to something. Don't go back.
Keep in mind that half of our kitchen was not being occupied.
Oh, I
see. 2 cooks at the same time. We're shut down.
So you're just in some R&D right now. You're just back there like, I gotta in this dismay, I'm gonna create.
Yeah,
I fucking love you.
And so I would bring the burgers to the house. I would cook like 1 through 8 or whatever different types of burgers, and I would bring them home. And I would ask my wife, "What do you think of this one?" And she'd take a bite. That's good. What would you give me from 1 to 10? And she'd say, "That's a 10 for sure." And then she ended up saying 10 to all of them. So that's where the name came.
That was my next question. Was like, where you have a very good way of branding, brother.
That's our visual. That's our visual team. I know.
No, but even the name.
Yes,
the name is you, right?
Yeah, the name is us for sure.
I mean, that's not easy.
Yeah, I came up with the name, and now Dennis has a BurgerTen ghost kitchen. I'm like, oh no.
Well, that's
so similar.
That's well. So on that note, though, on your mark, when I have this, when I grew up, I don't know why I've been super blessed with never, and I mean this completely sincerely, I've never had a jealousy bone in my body, whether it was with a companion, whether it was with, I've envied people. Like to this day, I would love to be a Messi or Ronaldo, but I'm happy with, I don't want their problems. So I've never gotten mad or resented somebody. When I saw your branding, I was so politely and a good envious. Like, what the? No one's got branding that way. You do your team that you've built. God bless them and give them a tremendous. I'm sure you already do.
Yeah.
But you have your digital marketing branding is probably some of the best that I've seen come out of this area.
Thank you.
And it from being my industry, it's like probably telling another restaurateur like, I eat your food more than my own. It's an incredible branding. And I don't underestimate, though, that the hardest thing for us as branders and digital artists is the name and the flavor. And you've done such a good job at bringing that vision to these artists. Because yes, they've probably taken that concept, like everything from the flame to the color. But dude, bravo to you on that. Like even the name, it just works.
Yeah.
So the 10 comes from being 1 to 10, like the whole.
And we were thinking of names, and I said, I would ask her like from 1 to 10, give me your honest opinion. And in fact, she said 10 to all of them. And so I was like, BurgerTen. That's it.
So you have these burgers. They're hitting home runs with the family.
Yes.
When does a guy like you start to bring it to? Do you go to homie Rick, and I got another one, or do you that process is so fascinating to me. What do you do?
I told my crew, and I told Rick as well. I was like, I got this idea of a burger joint, and everybody's like, do it, go for it.
Like, no one even doubts you at this point.
No, at this point they're like, yeah, go do it. And it was such a it was so different. It was one of those things that you're like, why are these people loving our burgers so much? Like, I get it, they're amazing, they're very delicious, but what separates me from all the other burger joints? And it's mainly, I think it's the flavor behind it, having a Mexican background, using carnitas, queso, guac.
The burgers are novel looking. I haven't been there yet, but the photos I'm seeing,
they are, and they're messy. In fact, our slogan is napkins required. Yeah,
you're not making these aren't like
no.
Eat them while you're driving burgers.
No, I don't think so. I've tried, and trust me, it doesn't work. It does not work, brother.
Burger flying everywhere. Because I've seen your marketing paraphernalia, and I'm like, they're big, and everything is colorful, right? You got, and your subcategories of food too, your desserts, etc., seem to be that novel effect, right? Like everything's over the top.
Absolutely.
Which do you see right now? Obviously, it's a rhetorical question, I would imagine, obviously, because in the food genre right now, market wise, I've noticed not only is the infrastructure of buildings. Remember growing up and like even old Daytona and everything was pretty much like height of a human. You know, like banks were like everything was. Now it's like a dollar store has an entry of like a cathedral from Rome, and you're like, yeah. Like, do you feel like that's that's bled into our food? We want everything to be
100%.
over the top.
100%.
That's an incredible.
Social media did that too.
Everything's just got to be.
Oh, absolutely, bro. We have a section in our menu called Gram Worthy. Hashtag Gram Worthy. Those burgers are the best-selling burgers in our menu. Why? Because people want to take pictures with it, post it on social
that
media.
segment right there, is that a brainchild of you?
Yes, yeah, we created all that for sure.
That's smart, man.
We wanted that. My wife and I we thought about it, and she actually came up with the over-the-top names, for the milkshakes. We got regular milkshakes, just like any other restaurant, but we also have the over-the-top ones, and those are pieces of art.
Right.
I mean, it really, like, sometimes I get what people complain because they want everything fast, but when you're making one of these pieces of art and then you get it on the table, you're like, holy shit, it was worth
it's like 20 minutes of photos, I'm sure, right?
And it's not that it just looks good, but it tastes amazing because we buy excellent quality ingredients. So
when did you open the actual
BurgerTen? March 7th, a month ago.
This is like yesterday. God bless, dude. And it seems to be the Kanye effect, right? Like it's just been good, dude. What a feeling. Yes. Is it a bigger does it seem to be a bigger explosion than Dahlia? Because like it's just got this. It's new.
It reminded me of when we opened Flagler.
Interesting.
A little bit. Because Flagler was such a small community and such a supportive community that when we opened the door, we had the same issue. People were lining up outside, and Dahlia Daytona didn't have that. But BurgerTen was born by adapting our concept, right? So there's a nostalgia about it. I think people are like, oh my God, that was a ghost kitchen and now it's its own restaurant and people want to try it. And so, of course, we had our bumps when we first opened.
I'm sure.
Just like any restaurant goes through when they have a soft opening, and most people understand and they're compassionate about it. They get it. When you get that 5% that don't give a shit and they just want to destroy you.
Maybe a little higher than 5%. When you're, and I know this is all happening now, but when you launch something like that, and it's got to be like watching another child be born to some degree.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend there? Is it hard to leave or is it hard to be there? I find this part fascinating.
Right now, I'm spending most of my time at BurgerTen.
Okay.
Yes. When I opened Dahlia Daytona, I spend most of my time there. My idea is to push the restaurant to be where I want it to be, and then I can.
And you probably subliminally have built this once again using the analogy of a ship. Once you start seeing the sales go up and and things start to happen more like clockwork, and it's well greased. Yes. That's when you start to kind of see you disappear, so to speak. Like you're not.
Yes.
Interesting. I guess it's a smart way. Would you consider yourself a micromanager, or do you? This whole part I find fascinating because I find how does it when you're there? I can't imagine being there, and I'm so OCD and like I want like, is it hard to like? Oh God,
I was like that.
Okay, because that's how I am now.
I feel like since my daughter was born, I'm trying to delegate as much as I can. Because But I used to be like that, just like
you see, like the napkin on the floor for like 20 minutes. You're like, I'm going to lose it.
I would drop a napkin on the floor just to see who picked it up. I remember doing that, and I would be like standing there, and then you get your team is busy too, so I understand, but I'm that person. I was that person.
That's hard. That's hard, dude. Beyond building this phenomenal what you're building. I admire that more than anything because whether you're successful or not, if you're not enjoying it, if you can't separate, that's to this day. I've been doing this now almost 15 plus years, being W-2 free, so to speak. It doesn't matter how rich you are if you ain't turning off to some degree. Now, I also don't believe the whole fuck it demeanor and attitude. If someone calls you and say, hey, the restaurant's on fire, and you're like, not today.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you can't.
That's stupid. I don't believe in that. And you're never going to not be a father. You're never going to not be a multifaceted business owner. But there's those days where now you go, do I really need to drop the napkin? And I commend you on, being able to separate. So where are we right now in overall with, because you've seen this now 2 other times. Are we getting a rhythm at Burger? Are we getting
Yeah, we got the rhythm. We finally have a fully staffed restaurant.
I can't imagine how hard that is.
Yeah, because I was gonna wait until we were fully staffed to open our doors, but I was like, if we keep waiting and the rent keeps coming in, we just and so I said, fuck it, let's just open the doors.
Smart.
And smart and not smart, because smart in a sense that yes, we needed to make money and we did right away, but some customers don't really understand what you're going through.
That 5%.
Like, I remember seeing a review not too long ago. The lady said they were not that busy and food took 45 minutes.
Geez.
And I saw 3 people in the kitchen. I remember that day. It was me, a friend I asked for help, and the dishwasher. Those are the 3 cooks you saw. So I'm like, people don't know that.
Right.
And our kitchen is visible. You can see the cooks. So I'm showing these people that have no idea about burgers or cooking what we got to do. And so you see, you got that complaint of someone that, of course, prefers to hide behind a keyboard and bash you, whatever, but they don't know what's going on.
Right.
That's why there's a soft opening too. There's a phase in which you work out all your kinks, and I feel I'm 98% sure that we did. I think we're solid now. You can go now and have a good time, and you will have great service. We did in the first 2 weeks, and I'm not ashamed of saying it. Like, it
takes a big person to admit it.
And like I said, that's why there is a soft opening period. It's for you and the customers. I'm not saying customers must understand, but they should have some sense of understanding.
You and I are cut from the same mold, and I hope that we are. I'm trying to continue to instill. I mean, having this show is a byproduct of having hope in humanity.
Yeah.
What seems to be attractive is people like when I'm giving somebody, let's just say, advice when it comes to marketing their business, and they're a small business owner, and they don't want to be behind the camera, or they don't want to be behind. They don't want to. I tell them that people want to work with people. And when people, for instance, if you came over here today and we were going to enjoy our time on the couch and watch a soccer game, and look, it's beat up a little bit over here and there, I can almost tell you by having the empathy that you have as a human, you're probably going to go, I don't give a shit. It's what he's got. It's what he's working with, right? Right, because he lives here. But there are a select few people that, unfortunately, I think, some of this is cliche and ticky-tacky, but hurt people, etc., that are not going to, they'd go, I'm not going to Chenzo's house.
Yeah.
This fucking couches beat the shit. I ain't say, and maybe they got a better couch.
Yeah.
So there's those folks out there that, and whether it's in the condition of restaurants or if it's just being hospitable at your own home, look, I think what's going to end up happening anyways, and it's happening for you, is that those aren't people that you probably want to have frequent anyways.
Right.
Like, for instance, if people did come over here and make fun of the couch or try to take me down, it's not really going to be conducive to my happiness. Now, I'm using this analogy of the couch, but the point is, you got to place yourself, and your skin has to be so much thicker because your scar tissue is you've been through like, I've got no bad reviews. How about that? How crazy is that? And it doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, too, I'm also the guy on the phone for 4 hours if somebody's sad or mad, even when it's not my fault. And I'm like, but it's so draining sometimes because I have come to the conclusion that I'm allowed to say this in this 30-0 game that I've learned, that people really are going out. They go in trying to fuck you 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible. Growing up as a young adolescent and being in business, I didn't think people were actually going to hire me as a subcontractor knowing they weren't going to pay me.
Right.
I didn't think that was even, like, who would do that?
Yep.
Those are real people. There are people in the world that literally go into a relationship premeditated, know they're going to hire you, and know they're not going to pay you at the end, and come to find some random conflict.
Right.
And they're going to try to make you and gaslight you and tell you that it wasn't good when the Taj Mahal's done. You're like, what? I've learned that the hard way. And you have to see it on levels that I literally, bro, when I have my candid conversations with people like you that are in this, you are even just the hiring process. So I run this job board online, completely out of labor of love. I don't make any money. I mean, that's a whole industry in itself, recruitment. I don't get any money for it. I can't get people that will show up and do the job. And that my heart is ripping for a lot of people. And it's one thing to find somebody that's there for a week or two, but people that want to be there, that take pride, like just hearing you talk about a fucking milkshake is like talking about a spaceship. That's beautiful. And that's why it shows, that's why people go there. And that's why, but to have someone, how have you found instilling that pride in a human that doesn't know you? That doesn't have, like, you wouldn't need to convince me, because I for some reason, as a human to human, I love you already. Like you say to me, Chenzo, make the thing like this and like this because it's a good, that's the way we got to do it. We got to make the money. But when do you have a good sense of like how to instill that pride in a person of work integrity? Have you seen that?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It's happening more and more for sure.
It's fleeting. Is that a fair statement?
It is. It is fleeting for sure. Absolutely, bro.
So like the whole, even like the GM thing, the management's thing, those seem to be a very tough position.
They're incredibly tough.
I'm dealing with a lot of restaurants out here.
Trust me, I'm so I appreciate what my managers do for sure. I would never say anything negative about them. Neither one of them. They take care of our babies. That's how I say, you know. But yeah, it is. But it's also for me, just handing someone something over to them, like handing them my restaurants is also very difficult. And when I'm at home and I'm looking at the cameras and I call them the baby monitors, you know, my wife is like, just stop it,
right.
Chill, watch TV or do something else, but stop focusing on the restaurant. But I really love what I do. I really love what I've built. And so for me to just let go like that, it's not that easy. And that's the reason, going back to the reviews and stuff, it bothers me when people get out of their way for one visit or one bad experience to make sure that everyone knows it. And I've gotten, and I shouldn't say this, but I got like 6 or 7 "don't come to Port Orange" emails and messages through Facebook. I'm like, it takes more effort to be a bad person than to be a good one. So you're getting out of your way just to send me that message, you know? And I'm not paraphrasing because you don't want that in your show, but you know, the whole Mexican thing coming to Port Orange and stuff, and we already have too
that
many
shit
of those,
still happening, huh?
Still happens.
That's incredible, bro.
And again, that's a small percentage of people, but that's not gonna stop me. In fact, that pushes me to do more. You know, I remember when I created BurgerTen and I created its own website and made it look like the real deal, even though it was coming out of Dahlia's kitchen. I remember getting messages saying, "I give you 4 months. I give you 3 months. Good luck."
Just
blah, blah.
random people.
It's like, we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're actually sending me those negative comments. It's like, it makes no sense to me. I would never write a negative review. That's why we love Trisha so much in her group, because it's all positive. Yeah. You don't want to be a part of it, don't join. You know, it's we needed that what she created. And by the way, if I don't say this to you, she's gonna hate me. She said, "Please tell Chenzo I love him."
Who?
Trisha from the Foodie Group. You had her. I think you had her here.
I love her. Yes. And
so her group and what they're doing too, promoting that positive thing, I think it's just key, bro. It's what we need. She
is, yeah, we could go on. She's a different, well, what I've loved, you know how, like, you know the feeling you can feel right now? It's almost like palpable.
Yeah.
Like this, it sounds so ticky-tacky, but it really equates to, one of my most favorite words is agape. You know, love somebody without expecting it being back. When people come here, it's not because of me, and I have no qualms in letting you know that it's because I'm in fear of losing what I have. It's not because I'm not treating somebody better so that I get, you know, like I get a free burger now when I know I get nope. I'm doing it because I'm so afraid that if I don't treat people well, and the podcast isn't just a reflection of that, but my real true recreational activity, not one person can say this. that I've ever done anything to hurt anybody. I don't owe anyone $5. I don't owe anybody. And that's not dealing with business dealings, but meaning like I've never stole, robbed, steal, cheated, killed, nothing. And that's hard to do because you said something that's beautiful. It is absolutely, because we grew up with this mentality. It's so easy to be nice. It's not easy to be nice. It's easy to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
It's so much easier I had to learn and unprogram myself that in the midst of your dismay, the first 5 things you usually want to say or do are probably fucking wrong. They're probably hurtful.
That is so true.
They're wrong. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's someone cutting you off, whether it's somebody disrespecting a family member, friend, colleague, immediately the first 5 things you want to do, you are probably going to answer for it, either to your God or higher or some accountability, because everybody wants to sink a guy that's got a great ship.
Yep. So
I've learned that in the midst of my dismay, whether it's today, someone stealing my credit card and I see them do it, and fuck, motherfucker. And I know they did it and I seen them do it. I have to unprogram that the first 5 things I want to do. Now I'll still take action,
of course,
but I'll take not only legal action if need be, but I'll take the action that's not going to fucking steal my health.
Right.
And it's hard, brother. And I know you are, once again, ships, you being the analogy, being that you are such a large ship now and multiple ships at ocean. I think one of the most prestigious positions in all things life are being a captain. Look at, that's why they wear what they wear. They're paid what they're paid, and they're responsible for tons of people, and you'll never meet them. Yep. How many handshakes of a pilot, true pilot, commercial pilot, do you shake your hand of people that have flown you? None. Maybe you get a blip of them, and there's this immediate admiration. Very rarely do you go to look at a pilot like, fuck you, bro, leaving a bad review, right? Like, but there's this weird then shift, and I've shared this before on my show, but like, I don't share it that much in public because I try to be super positive. But you ever notice that when you're driving on a highway and there's an accident, everybody immediately, we all guilty of it. We rubberneck, we stare, we look, and there are some that drive a little bit faster, but for the most part, the reason why there's traffic is because
slow down.
They got to look. We have this innate characteristic as human beings that we're attracted to this. Now, here's something that I find so unique though. Unless you are a true psychopath, if you see something or someone hurt or in jeopardy, we usually are programmed to save help or to render aid, whether it's a pelican choking or it's a child under a car.
Of course.
It's an immediate want to help. I find this to be unique in my own quiet time and prayer tank that we're all fucked up. We're all literally every day either still in the accident. We're still in that accident. And I had no idea that you were in one. And it probably hits even harder with someone that's been in one, that all you want to do is help me. Help me. I don't care what color you are, what gender you are. Matter. Help me. And that empathy, that sympathy, and that care to help factor is what I wish people would be more apt to do versus fuck your spot. Yep. And I hear you, and it's sad. And that's why I hope guys like you, I hope this becomes more and more contagious, that it is not easy doing what you're doing.
No, not at all.
That's why I'm
absolutely
the most attracted to you is the fact that every day, I can guarantee you the time, as soon as you flip this phone over, I hope there's as good as there's more good messages than bad, but there's going to be, we've got to fire an engine one. We've got to, and how you are able to deal with that. I tip my hat off to you. And I wish you I don't get too much dialogue with a lot of people that try taking me down anymore. Every once in a while, it probably happens like once every, if you want to use the business term, like once a quarter, I have a fucking asshole that literally, I've had people literally like, your Chenzo Web shit's going down. And I'm like, what web shit, bro? Like, what do you mean? Like, and then I get like all nervy. I'm like, what are you going to do? Like turn the internet off? But it hurts for a minute, you know?
Through your windows. Somebody else.
He's cutting the internet lines. Like, I don't know, but they're hurtful people. But I could tell you, I think it's, we're a growing crew of humans that are like, you're not being funded by the Walt Disney Corporation. No. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and a lot of these business owners get a lot of the same shit. The minute you have a brand, a sign,
Oh my goodness.
you're rich. Must be nice, bro.
Yeah, and it isn't. It's not like that. There's so much work. One restaurant alone is a lot of work, and trying to delegate. Yeah, you say it like that. Oh, I'm gonna delegate. I'm gonna give this. It's the more you grow, the more work you're throwing at you. You know, and so I just wish sometimes that people understood what you're going through. But again, you're the only one that knows that. So it's a difficult in any business, not just restaurant business. You know, all businesses are tough, but especially the restaurant industry and hospitality, man, is you're dealing with customer service 24/7, and some customers expect you to bring in 100% of your good attitudes and stuff. And sometimes you're having a bad day, whether you're a server, a bartender, whatever you are, your day is not going like you wanted it to go. And it reflects on what you do, and customers don't care.
You know, one of my things I like to do, and I've done it many times, more recently than not, because I feel a lot of people in the F&B industry right now are just getting destroyed because of being short staffed, etc.
Yeah.
When someone's having a really shitty day and you can tell, I try to even tip them bigger. Tip them bigger, because maybe and you're not their eureka moment. I'm not saying that that's going to change anything.
Yeah.
Don't do it because you want them to talk to you now for an hour. To just leave a bigger tip.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's going to be, if you can.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing is that people try to, and it's not even just the tip factor more than it is love them harder. Because the F&B, man, I'm a huge fan of being recreational. I'm out a lot. Even today, I'll be out misbehaving and having a great time watching Champions League. And if I'm gonna pass somebody today that's having a shitty day, whether they're behind a bar or with an apron on, or just another consumer.
Yeah.
And it's getting shitty out there. And it's easy, once again, back to that whole original point that you said, which is gorgeous. It's so easy to be an asshole. It's so much harder to shut the fuck up, think for a second, maybe go to your prayer tank, maybe to go to your think tank, whatever you got to do, or maybe don't say anything at all. Yeah, just chill.
If you have nothing.
Yeah, remember that one?
Yeah.
But it's so hard. That's why I think it's also fleeting.
It's a lot easier to do it 100%. That way. Just text it or whatever. Yeah, it's
the review system in this. But what are you? I already know that you do, probably because you're the Elon of fucking food over here. What's next? What do you got? Or what are you liberty to talk about?
So we have a lot going on right now with Port Orange, but I also have other concepts. One thing I didn't talk in between BurgerTen and Port Orange was GigaBites.
Oh yeah, what's this GigaBites? So I saw that on there.
So because of the success of BurgerTen as a ghost kitchen, I came up with a concept called GigaBites. And GigaBites is a giant kitchen in Ormond Beach that we put together, and it houses up to 12 different concepts, all created by us. And so BurgerTen being one of them, Dahlia being another one. So we got a burger, a Mexican, we got a ramen shop, we have a poke place. So all this is housed inside this GigaBites location. And it was born during the pandemic, right? So takeout was big. This place only focuses on takeout and delivery. Everything is at a click of a button.
No seating.
Nothing. Just parking spaces in front of the store. You go in, you pick up your food, you go. You can even place your own order. We have those self-serve kiosks.
Okay.
Right. And the cool thing about it is that you can order from Dahlia, BurgerTen, ramen, poke, whatever, and get it all at once, which I think separates us from the rest. Yeah, you can still get multiple deliveries to your house. Let's say you want, I don't know.
Right.
You want PF Chang's.
But you got to do each individual order. We do that sometimes. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And then one doesn't come because you're working with another provider, etc.
Exactly. So for GigaBites, we're operating with 8 different concepts now, but the kitchen is able to sustain up to 12 the way I designed it. And so it's cross training, so you can jump from a poke to Dahlia without no problems. And so that's the beautiful thing about GigaBites. It's you have a family of 5 and they all want something different. We got it.
So this is incredible, because let's think about this from a B2B perspective. I have a concept, pizza concept, or whatever the kitchen may be able to facilitate. You're going to allow me to lease from you space? No. Oh no,
not GigaBites. No. Okay. So that's how a ghost kitchen operates.
Okay.
So for GigaBites, those are our own concepts. We create those concepts.
So GigaBites is just
this guy,
a way to be able to get your food out faster, more condensed with the diversity of all the menus.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're doing delivery too, or just pick up at this location?
Delivery and pickup.
Dude, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, so we GigaBites is also blowing up. We opened last year in October, and we keep,
where is that
at?
Keep
doubling our sales every month. Hand Avenue in the middle of Ormond, close to the corner of Nova and Hand, but it's in between Nova and Clymores on Hand Avenue. Easy access.
When did this one come to you?
This one came because of BurgerTen.
No, but I like to know where. Where do you remember? You're on a walk. You're playing Scrabble.
I had
what's going on?
I've always been fascinated with the whole ghost kitchen thing. Ghost kitchens have been around since the 70s, and a lot of people don't know.
I did not know that. I thought it was because of the pandemic.
No.
So ghost kitchens have been in it.
India, countries that are overpopulated have been doing ghost kitchens for a long time. And places where real estate is extremely expensive, like New York or Toronto in Canada, places like that have the real estate is so expensive.
Right.
Here comes a guy with a concept, and so it's been around for a while. I'm not inventing anything. The way I did it is all the concepts are mine. So I don't have to respond to a tenant. I don't have to try to lease my space in the kitchen, nothing. So we depend on us. We adapt to the customer, to the demographic. So let's say we did a lot of research too when we put together the concept. So we know there's one concept that's not working. We just eliminate it and add a new one.
Without having to tear a building down, change an entire inside.
Nothing.
Good.
Nothing.
So as flavors are changing, you seem to though, and I don't want to blow up too much of your secret sauce because there's a lot of restaurateurs out here that are probably like, but you seem to be up to date with where people's palates are.
I'd like to think so. Actually, somebody told me the same thing. Somebody said to me, you know what the today customer needs.
Right.
And I'd like to think that, I think I visit a lot of restaurants all the time.
Smart.
I try to get ideas from restaurants and stuff. And I'm always like, we have great restaurants in town, especially in Volusia County and stuff. It's amazing how foodie this community is growing, right? But I think I like to think that, yes, I do have that little bit of a flavor profile that's liking most.
You seem to have, from an avid consumer of Dahlia, it seems once again the consistency seems to be the hardest amongst a lot of things that you restaurateurs deal with is consistency, because
so difficult.
And also even if you have an off day or off night, like so for instance, it's been 5 years, no joke, probably there hasn't been more than 2 weeks we haven't ordered in this household your food. And there's absolutely been a time or two, but where it's like, oh, it's not, but that's okay. But that's also shows empathy, sympathy, and love. And then also there's nothing wrong with if you were to deliver it out of love and peace and not look for a fucking free meal or $100 gift card. These are still real people, real things. And none of it's ever been debilitating bad. It's just like maybe the wrong order came. I think stuff like that. Simple things.
It happens.
Because exactly. But it's an incredible thing to see how you've gotten, like, I know when I order the burrito that I get, and I know that I get the ceviche that I get, I know what it's going to come. I know it's going to get, and you can gear your day and dinner around it, which is hard versus gambling. Nobody wants to gamble on your focal point of your meal. I always usually get dinner from you guys. Nobody wants to gamble dinner time. That's like, we're going to do that for dinner. What's the biggest discussion amongst companions? What are we eating today? Like, so when you've made that agreement, so you've got a good understanding of palate combined with your staff is a reflection of you, man. That's
thank you.
Incredible.
I feel like talking about flavor wise, flavor things also, the fact that we don't keep things so traditional, I think that's what people like. We add that American thing to it,
right?
That customers are used to. I feel like if we do something 100% from somewhere, that might not like.
You're only going to get that
small percentage of people that might understand it. Like I know I've seen this on different groups and social media accounts. Oh, I really want a true Mexican restaurant. In my head, I'm like, that's fine. You do, but once.
Right.
You don't want to eat certain foods every single day,
Right.
or you don't want the super traditional. If you want to go the traditional route, are you ready for tripe? Are you ready for brain? Are you ready for tom tacos? Are you ready for mofongo? Then shut up. You're not ready for traditional Mexican. Or the other comment I see all the time. I'm from Texas. I know Mexican food. No, dude. If you're not from Mexico, you don't know Mexican food.
I know. I hear that a lot too.
So it bothers me when, I lived in LA 7 years. This doesn't taste like Mexican food. You lived in LA. You didn't live in Mexico.
Right.
You know, little things like that. But you always get those funny ones.
Well, you've brought a wonderful, once again, man, like just the ceviche thing, I'm blown away. You're going to make me have to leave my island, bro. I'm not happy about
for Port Orange?
Yeah. Can we need to bring it here.
This place is so tiny, man.
I
know. I have a live band in Daytona every once a month, and people always tell me, bring him over to Flagler.
Oh, but the spot, it's tight, man.
It's tiny. It's only,
It's so cool because the other day, actually, I've never brought the soccer crew over there, but on a Thursday after soccer, we usually go out somewhere, me and the guys, and we caught you guys just in time. We got done early enough because you guys at 9 or 10.
It was at 10. Yes.
We made it just in time because we didn't finish up till later. But my point is, we got in there, and dude, your bar was fucking stacked like that. And I remember seeing your bar for the first time yet again. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was in there not too long ago, telling some of your staff. I always try to be very appreciative to all those that are working in that industry and humans in general. When I was complimenting them on something, and I think they told me, "Are you doing a rebranding inside soon or something?"
We wanted to, but then Publix kind of like,
oh no,
changed their mind. They were gonna give us the space next door that's been empty for 4 years.
What was next door? Was it not the pizza joint?
No, the pizza joint's still there.
To the left.
The one to the left, right next to the liquor store.
Okay. Was it a dry cleaner or something?
No, what was it? That was no. The dry cleaner was where Dahlia is. They relocated so we could take the 3 spaces. Yeah. They were nice enough to do that for us. It was an antique store.
It's funny. That's why I didn't.
But they left as soon as we opened, and it's been empty. So we wanted to take over.
It's still empty now?
Yeah, it's still empty. But the reason we were going to take it, we talked to Publix. We're ready to renovate and expand the bar area, whatever, and everything was good to go. And then about 2 months ago, they called me and they said that they had a ice cream shop that's coming in or something, and they offer them better deal, whatever. So that went to nothing. But,
well, I think you've learned, this. You're an expert in this. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be, and you have something else better that's gonna, seem even when that lime thing didn't go through. I'm sure like there was a blip of it being stingy, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, now I'm over. It's even better.
Yeah.
But interesting. So that's not going anywhere though, right? Dahlia, Flagler's.
No, Dahlia's staying there.
You ever think about coming beachside, or it's not really?
I don't know.
There's no why if it's working, why move it?
It is working. At some point, I wanted to move that restaurant out of there.
You seem to outgrown it. The bar was, like I said, I mean, I'm sure it's not like well, maybe it is, but
it gets a little bit out of control. But we needed a bigger kitchen. I think that's the main thing. I thought at some point let's relocate this beast because it needs a bigger space or an outside area or something. There was an accident too. This lady tried to drive through the bar area one time and it was so close to the road.
Here?
Yeah.
Like on purpose, try to drive?
No,
just happened.
An older lady.
I think I remember hearing about that. She just happened to,
Yeah. So, and little things like that, or the landlord not allowing us to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, and
this Publix one. One,
not the supermarket, but the corporation. The people at the supermarket are amazing.
Right.
Yeah, but at a corporate level, and I understand their side of things. They want. My idea was to close the street like we did the first year and keep everybody safe.
Right.
Have some fences, barricades.
And they
Flagler Beach Police was with us. They're like, yeah, that's a good idea. Keep everybody contained, and just public. So I think we're the only Mexican restaurant in the States that doesn't celebrate Cinco in a big way.
Right. So those little growing pains are probably
so it's like, man, well, it's just one day, it's not a big deal, but then you keep adding things to
the kitchen size of this to that.
Kitchen size is very small. We never thought we were going to be that busy.
Do you know what's going on with the guy who behind where Raju's is? That guy he's rebuilding. I think I forget. I don't remember his name. I think his wife's name is Barb. but Kokomo's used to be there back in the day, and it's right behind Rogers, right across from the Flagler Flagler Beach City Hall.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think there's some kind of convoluted situation. He wants to be owner of it. I don't think he's just going to lease it out. But that spot is so dope. I want you beachside selfishly. Even though you deliver, I've got nothing to complain about. But that's a beach
restaurant would be amazing.
Yeah, you guys would be.
I think and I have a concept in mind for a beach themed restaurant that I think it will just blow it out of the park. But we need some money for that for sure.
Well, the time is going to come. I am blown away by all the moving parts that you've got going on. And once again, I would say keep exercising that piece that you've got. Yeah. And that's got to be. So your girl's 2 years old now?
Yeah, she's 2. My goodness, she's so smart.
Papa Bear.
Oh my.
And God. you don't play soccer?
I used to. We used to play soccer.
I know you don't have time, but
yeah.
If you ever, I'm out there. It's in your blood.
Yeah, it is.
You have a dope soccer squad too.
It is
national
half of
team.
my blood because I'm half Indian.
Then you got your cricket in you. But
yeah, we do, and we love soccer, man. We, we get people make fun of us sometimes. It's like, what do you like, soccer? That's for girls or whatever. But it's such a competitive sport.
Bro, we talk about still haters in the world. Literally last week, and the one time I'm not there, a very dear friend of mine I've known since grade school. We were watching Champions League, which is we immediately are always oh, look at these guys, whoever the rough tough Americans have to be, and they're like, oh. And this dude literally got into a fist fight with a buddy of mine just because he's watching soccer. It's sad, but the community is growing. I love all sports, but I think this. Soccer is a universal language amongst the globe.
The most played sport.
Beautiful. Yeah. I've been to many countries. I couldn't speak a lick of the native tongue, but I've got a ball or I got my boots with me and your family.
Universal, bro.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And the community is growing. I run that pickup league on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's no cost, come out, and we get more and more people that are just because so many people are moving here, and a lot of other states have a nurtured soccer academy or something, even at our age. So I had a guy yesterday, literally moved here from Texas the other day. He's like, bro, I'm so glad I found this. But I'm like, we're a small but rich community.
I actually have an idea that we want to implement, and it's an indoor soccer facility that we wanted to do in Daytona a while back. And I had the perfect space for it and everything, and they ended up leasing it. But that is something that we want to do.
We need to stay in touch about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to be my retirement plan, not to make $1 billion, but to give once I'm pretty much not probably playing as often, doing very much something similar to a dear human being that I've known since high school, Eddie Johnson, who ended up playing for the USA men's national team, and now he runs a facility in Orlando.
Oh, nice.
But I want to get land in Bunnell that would be an indoor-outdoor facility, and just have sports 24/7.
Beautiful. Well, there is one coming to Ormond.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but it's mainly baseball. But you can actually adapt the courts in a way that you can play soccer inside.
So you can rent it out and stuff. That's
years ago I wanted to do something like that because I was like, man, how come?
I know.
I understand why people are not playing on the street during the summer. It's freaking hot.
Right.
And I remember when we opened Flagler, we used the Dahlia here. We used to play behind the building at night. We would close the door and just have the trash cans. And we used to play with all the.
I think a handful of your guys that work there have played with me or play still.
Yeah.
There's a league in Monday. Like I said, we're growing. We're a growing community, but it's not a nurtured sport. I have to fight tooth and nail. And thank you to the city, but I have to fight very hard to get rights to the lights, and it's not easy. So hard. The minute you say soccer, they're like, no.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. They're like, sure, but soccer is. But anyways, I love that.
There's money in indoor soccer,
dude. You think about it, where your wife is from, in most other countries, the sustainability of the economy is due to the fact that it gets
food and soccer.
That's it. And it's funny because the immediate little downtown area is closed down for soccer, but it doesn't affect economy because they're all there. There's nothing better than being in a football stadium and being sat next to like a 70, 80-year-old man, and then there's a 4-year-old, and they're there for the same purpose. It's just beautiful. I think it's gorgeous that you have that on your wife's side too, of that soccer. To me, Spain is like a whole nother level.
Oh, dude, I love it. We're actually going in June or July.
God bless.
Yeah.
Will you go? She still, I'm sure, got family back home and stuff.
Her whole family.
That's
She's the
gotta
only
be
one here.
amazing, dude.
Yeah. So, and my in-laws are both there, and we just went there in November of last year. We ended up, they're from Valladolid, but we ended up staying in Barcelona this time because we wanted to see something different. We've been to Barcelona before, but we wanted to meet in where it wasn't as cold.
Yeah.
In November.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful. And yeah, one time we went with some friends to Barcelona, and they arrived first. My friend Rick, actually, and they got to the hotel, and this lady needed to go back on a cruise or something, and she had 4 tickets for the Barça Madrid Clásico.
No way.
Yes.
Don't tell me you've been to the Clásico.
No. Wait. And so my friend doesn't know soccer. He doesn't understand it. He said, I'm going to buy it. Maybe I can take Kabir and Lupe with me, right? Our flight gets delayed. They get to go on their own, and we missed it for like 2-3 hours.
So Rick, who's never even goes to the Clásico.
He's a American football fan, but he even goes to. I remember he went to London for a Jaguars game, and so that fanatic. But he has nothing to do with soccer, and he got to go. He sends me pictures of like Cristiano Ronaldo like in front of him and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we missed it for a few hours, man.
Bro, I've been super blessed with seeing Messi play twice, one at the Camp Nou. I've been able to see some of the most beautiful football in all the world.
Amazing,
bro, and it was like the weirdest thing because it's like God was working with me on that trip because I go to the Camp Nou. I'm watching Barca play Man U in the second leg of the Champions League about 3 years ago. And I'm in the stadium. And bro, I think it's like 99,000 capacity, sold out crowd.
Oh yeah.
Messi's playing. Ronaldo wasn't on Man U then 3 years ago, but he had a stacked squad. Bro, Messi scores.
Energy in that stadium is just.
And I had just gotten one of the newer iPhones, and it was 4K, and I didn't know this. So long story short, I went home to like every day. You're an avid traveler. You usually go home, back it up if it's an important.
Yeah.
I put it on, and I would always delete everything on my phone because it's 4K. So
of course,
bro, I didn't realize that my laptop wasn't 4K at the time. Compatibility.
No.
I lost all the footage. I remember feeling like, okay, it's here because I was weeping the entire time. A beautiful weeping. You know what I mean? But I did a whole tour. I went on.
It's here.
It's here, baby. It was hearing Messi, and to think now he'll never be back. But I love that you're going. Isn't Barca like something?
My favorite city.
Isn't it beautiful?
My favorite city in the world.
Really, it really is. It's one of my most like. We found. I'm sure there was like this. Every little corner had the church and the Providence.
Yeah.
I would wake up and just go get a coffee and play soccer with the kids, and I'm like, this is life. There's this simplicity, and a lot of that though, and coming from an avid traveler, and especially not being state-based. It's this minute, and I say this about my own home country, but the minute you get out of the States and I joke around about people, if you're in a line, in an airplane line, boarding an airplane to another country, there's a difference between boarding it to the States, to another place in the States. And I don't want to sound stereotyping and this, that, but try it. If you're boarding an airplane outside of a country, especially if it's that culture is boarding the plane, you ask someone out for dinner. Tell them you don't have dinner. You're going to get invited over. There's this, I don't know. And I'm hoping, and I'm seeing people like you, people like me. I'm trying to, even when I met the guy from Texas moving here, I wanted him to feel at home and comfortable. And I know that feeling of, I was at a very young age. I left the States, and I disappeared, and I learned how small we are and how not important we are unless you have a tribe or a community. And I couldn't speak the language, and I learned how to love and it's like, the only argument I've ever won with someone who was a really big asshole was, tell me about your God without speaking. Because we take this for such a gift. Like we take it for granted. Like Well, what if you couldn't do that? And if you couldn't even sign? How are you gonna commune with me? Well,
I love that actually.
It's tough. It's not a crowd favorite because a lot of people think for instance, I'm a New England fan, you're a Pittsburgh fan. We hate each other. It's in the States, we're so birthed with this diversity versus what do we like in common?
Yep.
What is the commonality? And I hate to sound so Gandhi and they love the world and peace and love,
No,
but
I get what you're
it
saying.
works.
For sure. Yeah.
It works when you get your, and you are, if someone could have manufactured it, you're it. To have come here at the ripe age of 16, 17, 18, nothing, the vulnerability mentally you're going through, the adolescences, you had nothing and no one. I know you had a support system and pops and stuff, but I mean, like, you truly, you defied statistics instead of becoming a resentful piece of shit and saying the world owes me something.
Not at all.
You worked and you show and look what you've done, dude. You must employ. What is the number? Do you have a rough idea of how many people you employ? Is it
close to 100? Maybe, I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah, 30.
You give that many people a way of sustaining livelihood.
Yeah.
And that to me is like,
there's a server last night at BurgerTen. She said she just moved from New York. She's from New Jersey, but she was working at a restaurant in New York, and she said, I have never made this amount of money as a server in my life. She said, you have no idea how grateful I am. And when you get those comments, it changes your day. Even if you're having a bad day, it's like, okay, we're making a difference, you know.
It's incredible.
And it is for sure. And I think I was listening to some of your other podcasts from other people that have been sitting here with you, and there was one guy that said something that really got me. I think is the owner of Oceanside.
Have you met him?
No. But I was listening to all your people and he said something because I spent hours. I was like, I got to get ready for this. You know, I've never done a podcast or whatever. But he said that most people think that the people that work in the restaurant industry are just the worst or drugs or whatever. There's a small percentage of that, but he's right. I mean, it's such a family oriented business, and I feel blessed every time I go to one of my places, and I'm like, man, we have a good crew. Everybody loves each other. They go out after work, and it's a beautiful community, you know. And I would love for people to see that, but of course they don't, you know.
Well, I think I can hear your heart. I think by taking time to do what you did today, and as you have additional opportunities to put a face to the business, it shows, man. But you're also, what I respect about doing something like this that you've done today is that you're placing yourself in a sense of vulnerability too. You know, because people, once again, I'm learning it the hard way. You're learning it the hard way. People want to ruin something beautiful, you know, and it's unfortunate, but it's a fact. But I'm telling you, I think by byproduct of people like you and Johnny are taking the opportunity of saying, no, we're here.
Yeah.
Johnny right now is in a position where, because of staff situations, he's back there. He's cooking.
Me too. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm going straight to cooking after this.
And that doesn't mean that you're supposed to be loved more or less, but it shows there's a realness. And there's absolutely something to be said with those out there that have a resentment towards the Walt Disney effect, the conglomerate effect. If you don't, even them, people get mad at those who, must be nice. And it all has a trickle effect.
Oh yeah.
That's why, to me, I remember, as of right now, I would be going to my resting place with having less than 3 W-2s of employment. But everyone that I had, I'm not going to say that I wanted to do it the rest of my life, but I worked. And I, if I wanted to change something, I think it was a simple fix of try to either do your job quietly and peacefully and get it over with,
right,
or bring ideas and inventions to that. There's not one business owner out there, whether big, small, that doesn't want to hear about some way of bringing in incremental revenue if there's a possibility behind it.
Absolutely.
Maybe they won't care because they're mad at you, but that doesn't mean that there's an idea and a concept that you can instill in yourself. And I think if there's one thing that I hope resonates today with those that listen to this at any point, is that you have defied odds and statistics and showing the world that, I mean, here you are, a serial entrepreneur, which comes with a tremendous amount of responsibility. And you're on ship number 4 or 5.
This is the 5th one.
God bless. And I, once again, from one captain to another, I have a small little vessel. I'm just tugging along. And I admire, because I'm not ready for that. I think that's also something to be said too, is be aware of what you're capable of. You have this really beautiful sense about you that you've admitted, where I wasn't good at this. That's why I brought in X, or I didn't know, so I brought in Y. And even though you said I could have maybe done it, but now I still want that. I want Rick involved. I can admit that there's things that I can't do, and that's why I'm where I'm at. Yeah. I think being aware of what you're capable of doing and not trying to overextend is probably helping you.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
We also need people that are outside of your business or like, for example, friends that have nothing to do with your business. Right. You need that support group. You need those people that can take you away from that from a minute.
Break you away from it. It's beautiful, man.
So no, we're lucky. And we have a few other things coming up, but I can't really say much.
I was going to say, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like when Rogan messes with Elon. He's like, yo, what's up with Neuralink, bro? And Elon goes silent for like an hour. He's like,
No, we are launching a few concepts inside the GigaBites that are going to be exciting. We have a curry shop named after my dad, actually.
Oh, God bless.
Vasant, and we have Molomo, a Peruvian concept that we're throwing in there too. And so you'll see those in the next few weeks or so.
And once again, correlating back to what you said, in the event it doesn't stick, which everything seems to stick, you're not like out in building a lease of this. You're just change the menu item.
GigaBites is a little bit different because you can just everything is digital.
Right.
You don't like something, you get rid of it. A price changes, you up and bring it down, whatever it is. Everything is done digitally. So that's a beautiful thing about GigaBites and how virtual it is and how seamless and so easy to use. Dangerous sometimes. It's kind of like Amazon Prime where you're like, did I just buy that shit? Oh my goodness.
Hey,
they make it so they make it so easy. Now we just added beer and wine to GigaBites. So it's like, you can buy burgers and a 6-pack of Modelo. Dope, just go home. Yeah.
So Peruvian food, which is incredible.
Yeah.
God, I love it. That's a hard cuisine to find.
It's top 5 in the world.
Wow. Peruvian, Indian for Papa. What was your father's name again?
Vasant. Well, everybody called him Vasu.
Vasu?
Yeah, he was the Indian guy who spoke Spanish at the dealership.
What a mix.
Love it. What a character.
So shout out to Pops for that. Yeah. So you got Vasant, which will be that Indian cuisine. And then what was the third one?
No, we got 8 right now. So we have Ali B Coffee and Tea is a coffee shop inside. Shit. It's named after my daughter. We have BurgerTen, Dahlia. Well, we call it Little Dahlia because it's the limited menu.
Right.
We have what else? Poke Umi. It's a poke joint. Ramen Shi is a ramen concept. Pasta Dieci is a pasta concept. What else we got?
Damn, so bro! And these are all your brainchild menu items and stuff.
Yes. So we create.
God bless you.
Yep. Everything came out of. I'll show you before I go. But yeah, so all those restaurants are in there, and now we're adding Molomo, which is a Peruvian concept, and curry, and then we got 2 more. Green Box is a vegetarian vegan focus.
Smart.
We have another one called that we're putting together just now. It's called 86 Gluten, and it'll be a gluten-free concept.
I like what you did there.
The name is registered, so I'm good. And there was one more that we're putting together. I forgot, but it's 12 restaurants under one roof.
Bro,
and then the good thing is that Dahlia is one of them, an actual brick and mortar. BurgerTen has just become its own brick and mortar. And my idea is to, bring those to life. Like Molomo might be a good Peruvian restaurant.
That's the cool thing about this. If something sticks,
whichever one works,
you start getting phone calls and you're like, yo, we can't even.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, there's something here.
Actually, I was going to launch Molomo and the curry shop right before I got the space for BurgerTen. And so I got so busy with that I couldn't do anything else. So. But I get those messages all the time. Hey, when is the Peruvian concept coming in?
Peruvian, man. All those are great cuisines, but Peruvian is probably like the hardest thing to find. Is that cuisine is incredible.
Unless you go to
that's a very healthy, but yet gluttonous.
Lots of raw elements.
Yes.
Lots of raw
all
seafood,
lemon, lime.
Yep. Yeah. And so GigaBites will be part of Dahlia Port Orange as well. So the coastal was so big that the expansion they did when they took over, when I think it used to be Don Pablo's before, and then they took over, they expanded the patio area, and I'm going to turn that into the GigaBites reception. And the kitchen is so massive. I've never had a kitchen this big that has 2 cooking areas. So I'm going to keep 1 cooking area for Dahlia and 1 for GigaBites.
Smart.
So we'll have a GigaBites in Port Orange too.
This is so awesome. Yeah. I've always been a supporter of yours from a consumer level. I've always been a fan of yours from a spectator's view.
Thank you.
I want you to know something. Starting today and forever, anything I can ever do to support you, not only as a friend, you can call me, text
Appreciate
me,
it, brother. Thank you so
and
much.
help me. I invite
Yeah.
you to help me in a version of, to remind myself that, because you've got some wonderful experiences with dealing with storms.
Yeah.
And my little ship, I get so rocky sometimes, and I get mad at myself because I confide in a very close proximity of a guy here, and he is a very unique individual with 100+ years of being in a business. He's not that old, but the business itself has been around for 100+ years. And every once in a while, he'll stop me, and he's on his walk, and she's a very, very beautiful human being, and he'll share with me a war story, and I'm like, and I think I'm having a bad day. Yeah. And once again, it's not all about like make me feel better, but I think it's something to be said about reminding somebody you're going to be okay. Yep. And I want you to know that for the rest of your life, you've got a homie in me, man. I find such inspiration in you. It's just incredible.
That means a lot. Thank you.
And I hope that this conversation, for anyone out there, and this isn't the purpose of the show. I'm not a get rich quick guy or fucking feel better about yourself guy. But I'll tell you, if you're dealing with imposter syndrome, any bullshit out there, I'm telling you, don't look at this guy, because I know you've dealt with it. I know you're dealing with it. And for you to continue to persevere, I admire that. So that's what I wanted to selfishly extract from you. But then for those that take time to listen to this at any point, like if you can do it, anyone can do it. And that's a compliment. Meaning like it doesn't sound like you were blessed with billions of dollars from right. That's what I'm saying though. Right? You know what I mean? Like you didn't come here with $1 billion to burn. You came here with an idea.
$1.50.
That's it's amazing.
$1.50 in my pocket.
The minute I saw that story hit, the BurgerTen story, and just something clicked, and I appreciate you being receptive to it, because I literally must have sent you like 2 sentences to come do a podcast. Yeah. Like I didn't want long-winded, convoluted.
I looked up all you have done, and I was like, I'm in. Like I want to do it.
I'm honored. This was your first time.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a lot more of these.
Oh,
I promise you. You watch. There's something, dude. And it's not even about the financial success that I think people are gonna find most attractive about you. Like it's like Elon. Elon just passed. I don't even know now. They literally are guesstimating that he's supposed to become a trillionaire. Like he's like $500 billion right now. But that's not even what he's talking about. Yeah. There's this scariness to him, and you have that in a good way. There's this, to me, I wonder like where, I can, and that's a good thing though, meaning like you're channeling it. Yeah. There's a lot of people that just sit in the corner. I was that guy from 17 to 25. I was yellow notepad next to the bed. I wasn't doing shit. There's Denzel Washington says, just because you're busy doesn't mean you're getting anything done. Yep. Like that was me.
That is so true.
I was always like, I had a BlackBerry, didn't have anything connected to it. Just wanted to buy. You are using your pressure is cultivating this diamond effect. And that's not easy to do.
No, not at all. As long as we focus on the positive, we get negative from everywhere, right? But we gotta focus on the positive, man. That's the only way to keep moving forward and adapt.
I think that's a beautiful keyword,
man. That's whether you're learning a new language, whether you're changing your business model because of the times right now,
right.
If we don't adapt, we stay where we are.
I want you. I know you guys have a fleeting thing of time, but you and Johnny I almost feel like it would be like a supernova of just. Even if it's just throwing back a couple drinks and just exchanging war story, you guys are very similar,
really,
in a good way.
Cool, man.
You guys have a lot going on, and it's with a family and the whole.
Yeah. Now I feel like I'm more of a dad than a business than a restaurant owner.
Right.
I really want to be with that little girl, man. My goodness,
I can't imagine. Is she Two's talking now?
Yeah. She's well. She thinks she can talk.
You understand her.
We understand. Sometimes, she spends most of her time with mom, of course, but sometimes she says something to me, and I'm like, what is she saying? And Lupe is like, clearly she said that she wants this. And I'm like, what? Like,
moms know. Wait, being such a beautiful, diverse, bilingual and stuff, are you starting to how do you?
Yeah, so
I always find that fascinating.
We try to do the bilingual thing. We were pushing for Spanish at home. but she was getting behind a little bit. I
Okay.
remember she was having a hard time trying to communicate with the other kids and
Right.
stuff. And so, and others noticed too. And so Lupe and I were like, you know what? Let's just talk to her in English and at home. There are certain words that we still throw
Right.
out there in Spanish. Like at night she calls for leche instead of milk. You know.
Okay.
But for the most part, she speaks 95% is English.
I
Sure.
love seeing my immediate nucleus group of crew being the soccer community, and them all English is not their dominant language.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see them all having their kids
Yeah.
now, and I'm like, it's something I wish I grew up with, was
Yeah.
a more bilingual. And
Yeah.
Spanish seems to be more of the universal language amongst the world, because you
Yeah.
can, but it's still incredible that she'll get it.
All
That's
languages
beautiful.
are beautiful, man. Accents are beautiful. I remember having this conversation with my wife. He's like, "Oh man, my accent," and I'm like, "Dude, your accent is beautiful,
Bro, everyone in the
It's
States
sexy.
wants an accent.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I
You
love
go,
it. I love it. But
separates
it's funny
you.
that you mentioned something about traveling, and for the first time in my life, I started traveling when I became a citizen of the United States and I got my passport. And I don't know how people take it for granted. Like people from here, I've met people that are 40s, 50s, and they're like, "I've never left Florida."
It's
You're like,
unfortunate.
dude. You got a
I know.
universal passport. You can go anywhere.
Well, I think I grew up with a hunger and a desire to always want to travel. I've learned that traveling doesn't make you happier if you bring in your shit to when you travel, and I learned that the hard way
You're
too.
absolutely right.
So don't think that going to Thailand is going to
Yeah.
change your life. You go there a miserable bitch anyways. But I'll tell you, I find it to be, if I were to do it all over again, I think leaving your zip, even just leaving your zip, dude. I've been in Florida my whole life.
Yeah.
I have been to like this many places
Yeah.
in Florida. Like I've
Yeah.
been a handful. I still haven't been I could spend the rest of my life going to every little area,
Yeah.
and each area brings its
You
own
need to. It opens your
influence,
mind,
its
dude.
own culture.
Yeah.
And you're 100% correct. But I think the most beautiful thing about traveling isn't the Polaroid effect. It's the realizing how insignificant you are in a good way.
Yep.
Speak when spoken to.
We really are, man.
And that's
We
what,
really
when
are.
you're in an airport, when you're in an airport terminal, not in Orlando, but a London or anywhere that's massive,
Yep.
a multi international terminal.
Yep.
You'll realize how unbelievably insignificant you are,
Yep.
that everyone else is just as important,
Yep.
that they've got somewhere to go, you got somewhere to go, but take your time
Absolutely.
and chill. But I think it's a beautiful thing that it's like you couldn't have planned this better with the woebegons and the greatnesses that you've been through. You're in a great position. And in the grand scheme of things, man, we're still young bucks in the world. So I am so excited to see you
Yep.
where you are next, irregardless of what you build, but where you go here and here.
Yep.
I admire that. And I don't need to say this, but don't ever lose it.
No,
because
not at all.
it's so fleeting. I'm like
super hungry. I want to keep moving forward. I want to keep growing. I want to create something better. I know there are certain inventions that change the world. I have my ideas. They're a lot more expensive to execute, but we're going that way.
You're the closest thing that I've ever met at being able to. You're like my real Walt Disney, man. You envision it. It comes to build, and like you've given people an experience. And you're employing people. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's an absolutely. I hope after today that you feel just know that you've touched the heart of myself, and I'll speak on the behalf of my audience. Like you're changing lives, man.
I hope so. That's the plan. Yeah,
you really are.
Yeah, it's not just opening a restaurant. I think it's just creating something for the community as well. And it's funny that when Gail and Tim, the guys that owned the Coastal restaurant, they approached me, and that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody with roots in the community, and we were born here. Dahlia was born in Flagler.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about Flagler is that they don't take those big corporations in.
Right.
They want mom and pops, which I think is beautiful. And that's what One Daytona is doing now. One Daytona opened the doors to family-owned businesses, and that's how they're being successful.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'm a family-owned business.
Is PF Chang's?
No, well, I'm saying now.
Oh, now
that's the oldest restaurant.
Okay.
But after some of the restaurants going out of business, they're like, okay, we got to change our tactics. They took in. They had Eric now with Stoke Pokey. He had a small location in Port Orange, and now that one. Myself, I'm a family-owned business as well. and so like that. I think the small boutiques and all that, those are small women owned or family owned businesses that are thriving right now. It's a different vibe.
It's a different landscape. It's interesting because it's happening. It's always been that way in Flagler. So we've been like spoiled.
Yeah.
Because I'm not robbing the franchise effect either, people. So like those out there that are doing successful off of McDonald's and Chick-fil-A's and all that, that's great. Good. Those are wonderful. Yeah. But you're not the brand, and that's okay. I think you'd be silly to be. Most franchise owners, they don't. If you're there, you're kind of silly to begin with. It's supposed to be. It's a set it and forget it kind of concept. Once again, there's no harm in that, especially if you're the landowner, then God bless you tenfold. But when you are the brand, when it's coming out of your own pillow, which is happening.
A lot more stress too, but
oh, I can't imagine. My little ship, bro. I'm enough. I look at yours go by. I'm like, God damn, those storms, man. I admire it, but that's what I think people. This started years and years ago with the whole. For our little area, but the eclectic beer thing, that beer scene that everybody now it's look at that's even these. Everybody's got its own little brand and flavor. But I think it's interesting that in these bigger cities, to us, to me, Daytona is huge. Yeah. Where they're seeing that demand and that desire, but people want to work with people. There's something so refreshing knowing that when I'm ordering from you, I know that it's helping you, but I'm also getting it's beautiful. It's this perfect synergy of like, but I
remember seeing during COVID and stuff is like people saying on social media, help local businesses, family owned businesses. And it did happen. Not everybody survived the pandemic, but I saw a lot more help from customers towards family owned businesses for sure. I did see that. And groups like the foodie groups and are born because of that,
You're going to see, I hope to be a reflection of what Flagler Beach has done for me as an individual, as a business owner, and as part of their community. But you will see I hope it never happens, but in the midst of these storms, whether it's hurricane or figuratively, you will see some kind of supernatural power that comes out of Flagler Beach. And I don't have anything against my Palm Compton town. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. But there's something different about when the minute you're on this beach side, we Flagler folk.
Yeah, I told you when I came into your house.
You can feel it.
You live in an island, dude. Yeah. Like, this is great paradise.
It's a very. If it wasn't for Flagler Beach, I wouldn't be who I am. Not
say the same thing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I got people to this day that I work amongst that are in my industry, the Seattle folk, the New York folk, the LA folk, and they're like, how the f are you making a living off of interneting in this little town? I'm like, dude, well, first of all, I don't have much. So I don't need to be paying for a $10 million mansion, but people don't understand that it's all word of, I survive off of word of mouth.
It makes you happy too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's incredible. But meeting you, and I appreciate you more than you know for being receptive to doing this and also sharing your story. And also, you would have thought you've done a million of these. You have a very fluid nature of sharing your rhythm, man. That's
thanks, man. Yeah.
Did you feel it? Did you enjoy it?
I did. Absolutely.
Do you have anything really time sensitive to like we have like anything on the horizon that you want to?
Dahlia PO come in June, the last week of June. That's gonna house the GigaBites as well. Not right away, not off the get go, but we're gonna open our doors as Dahlia.
Is that in that downtown Port Orange area? That dope, what's that called? I forget.
That main road, Don Latin.
Okay.
Don Latin.
But there's all those shops and shit down there. I haven't been down to Port Orange.
This is a standalone building.
Oh wow.
And it's close to Nova actually. Okay. So it's pretty busy right now.
So are you having like a grand opening?
Yeah. So we're gonna do a soft opening again.
Okay.
Work our kinks out. But Dahlia is already a proven restaurant. So I think we'll have everybody train in Daytona and then have them there. But I'm adding a few new things that the other Dahlias don't have, like the ceviche bar and the guac bar. I also want to make Dahlia the restaurant with the largest selection of tequilas in East Florida.
That's my job, baby.
Yeah, so I'm working with the vendors right now. We're trying to put together something that's gonna blow everybody's mind. Like we're gonna have the greatest selection of tequila for sure.
It's awesome.
At some point, it doesn't happen overnight,
right?
But I also want to do. We want to make our own tequila as well. So that's we're planning on that. Of course, tequila is made in Mexico. It can't be made anywhere else in the world. Otherwise, it's not tequila. So we got to find a farm or a place where we can actually, you know, grow our agaves and
what would you? Can we know the name? Would it be
Dahlia? Yeah, of course. So yeah. Dahlia is Mexico's national flower, so it's just the perfect fit.
Just
you know?
Works.
Yeah, we have the bottle design already, the logo, everything. We're just working with some vendors right now. We're gonna.
I will probably be your number. I'm like, I think whoever owns Patron now, because it used to be the guy, the hair guy.
Yeah, Paul Mitchell.
Yeah. I've definitely bought maybe like a little boat for his yacht because that's all I drink is Patron. It's funny because I go places sometimes like, you do know it's this much a shot. I'm like, I know, man, don't remind me. But I love it because it's got the medicinal effect. It's from the plant. You don't have a lot of liquors from the plant.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make one.
We want to. We want to. We've been discussing it for a long time and make it our house tequila as well.
That's fucking dope, bro.
So it's not like we're gonna lose money if we don't sell it. It'll be
a house tequila.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
Yeah, and we've been thinking about this way before it became popular. Like now, The Rock is doing it, and, you know, Kylie Jenner, everybody's doing their own tequila. But we want to do something special for sure. We want to do a nice tequila, affordable, you know, that we can use as a house tequila, something that customers can buy.
It's great branding too, because it's going to help.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So that's in the future. It is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Sure. So we're going to start with partnering with a brand. And then we're going to get our own recipe, but with their label. But it'll say, for example, Herradura by Dahlia.
Right.
You know?
It's smart to get your feet in it. It's a very unique industry.
Yes.
Hard industry to get
you got to buy a lot, too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Just buy one barrel.
No.
So
can I get one?
It's a big investment for sure. But we're going to use it anyways. If we don't sell it,
at least it's going to go towards your, it's smart. That's a good backup plan. Does Caesar still work with you?
So, yeah. Caesar is the GM in Daytona.
Is that where he went?
Yeah.
I miss seeing his face.
Yeah.
He was great. I mean,
great.
I say he was because I don't see him anymore. I miss Caesar.
He's from Peru, and he's helping with the Peruvian concept. Actually.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Dude, he was one of the first experiences I had at your place.
Yes.
I went by myself. Yeah. And he and his energy, his care. I mean, dude, what a great guy. He looks good too. He's all.
He lost a lot of weight now. Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. He's been working out and he's focusing.
So he's at your one Daytona. Well, I say one, but he's at the Daytona. Okay.
He's at the Daytona. I have two managers right now, but Cesar will stay there as the GM.
Okay.
And the other manager will go to Port Orange.
It's awesome that you can cross pollinate too as you're growing because they know they know what's expected.
Yeah.
Look at this little monster you're building, man.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm nervous too. You know.
Well, Michael Jordan said, "You ain't afraid before a game, man. It ain't important to you."
Yeah,
so
it is.
It's good.
Right.
It's just once again, it's not debilitating you. That shows. It's those that once again, it's like I still get the butterflies before big soccer games. If I sat here and didn't leave the house, that's not good. You got to do something about it. But let it fuel you, and you're doing that.
Yep.
I can't. So I'm gonna have to go on a field trip to this ceviche bar, bro. I love the ceviche.
Last week of June, maybe, and then you can sit there and see how we make it. I mean, it can't get any fresher than that. So my idea is to partner with a good seafood provider. I mean, there are a few out there.
Right.
I've selected
but you're getting some good proteins.
We want to get some really good fish.
You have to with the ceviche. I think that's why right now you focus primarily on shrimp ceviche at the Dahlia because it's just so hard to get.
Yeah. And I think Mexico focuses on that, on the shrimp ceviche.
Right.
But we do want to incorporate other types of proteins.
It's a bit, that's why when you go to Jamaica, you have a conch ceviche. If you go to other places, it just depends on what protein you have accessibility to.
Yeah. But ceviche, I mean, it has so many variations. I mean, Peru makes amazing ceviche.
Dude,
my country too. Chile,
you guys have a wonderful. It's crazy. I didn't know how much of the Peruvian the palate is like. Lemon lime cooked meat, even the meat. I had that not too long ago at a friend of mine's family invited me to a cookout, and I was blown away with this meal. It was a Peruvian meat cooked in lime and lemon. It had to sit all night, etc.
They do beef and everything.
Oh my god! And it's so funny because although most of that food came from not being able to have access to cooking, and it's even better.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They started cooking. That technique came because of not having a way of cooking. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, over marinating everything and lime juice and stuff. Yeah,
a friend of mine we stole his recipe. It's a radish dish made in lemon and lime, and he puts a bunch of other stuff, but it sits for a while.
Delicious. Man.
Oh my god! You can put it on anything. Literally, I'll put it in You could eat it with almost anything. It's incredible. Radishes are such an underrated.
They're so underrated, man.
They should be in almost
I
every.
think most vegetables are underrated right now, man.
You're
I think
right.
the most overrated one is kale. But
kale. This has kale on it. Right.
But
You're right.
Yeah, vegetables are really, really underrated right now. They should really be using more products for sure.
Well, look, man, I thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, brother. This was fun.
I think we covered a lot. Anything else you could think of? I think we.
No, I mean, there's things that I can't really say.
Well, of course, we're not at liberty. That's the next. That's the next show.
That's the next show.
Well, look, man, thanks for coming.
Thank you, brother. It was very nice. Very cool.
I think you were good luck, bro. We didn't even get. Boom.